You'll find a Mets fan. Let's go. This is a Mets year. For all your Mets here, let's go. Bring it home. Bring it home. Bring it home
What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to Talking Mets Hit Rob, and we got another Mets live stream here, and the New York Mets are going for 6 in a row at the friendly confines at Wrigley Field against the Chicago Cubs, and the Mets have probably been playing their best baseball of the season, and not even the offense is what everybody's talking about. But the pitching has been a lot better. And that is a big reason why the New York Mets have been playing a lot better. Yes, the heroics of the big-time home runs, the late-inning heroics. But when you get quality starts from your starting pitching, it gives the lineup, it gives the offense a chance to come back in ball games they might be losing late in the ball games. And that is very, very important to this New York Mets team. We talked about it a lot over the course of 48 games this year, that the New York Mets, last year, the big reason why they won 101 games was because of the pitching. The pitching gave the offense a chance to always come back in a ball game, which the Mets had a ton of comebacks last year, and also a lot of low-scoring games that the Mets had that they actually won. So it's more important that the Mets get quality starts, because quality starts leads to late in games where you have a chance of maintaining the lead or easier to come back, because as you've seen, instead of hitting 4, 5, 6 hits in a row to get back from a 4 or 5 run deficit, all you need is one big swing of the bat and you're right back into the ball game. So once again, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button. And let's get a Let's Go Mets chant early on in this chat today, because we have a chance for the New York Mets that one thing the Mets cannot do. They played very well against the Rays and very well against the Guardians. Two teams, is the best team in baseball, and the Guardians, who, as you can tell, are a very scrappy team. Not as good right now, but a lot of people believe that they were going to win the Central. And you saw what they did against the Yankees last year in the divisional series. And I do think the New York Mets need to continue this momentum going into Chicago and also going to Colorado, because the Mets, especially this year, have been playing down to their competition. And that has been a huge problem. But again, you can also look back at it and look at the bad starting pitching we were getting in that stretch of bad games against bad teams. So when you actually look at it, if the Mets pitch better, they should beat these bad teams. But the offense in these situations, and what annoys me about the Mets, especially against the bad teams, was that the offense is a lot better than what it was against, the Reds, the Tigers, the Nationals during that stretch, and the Rockies, was that the offense wasn't really clicking on all cylinders. Right now, it seems like no matter who they put in the lineup, everybody seems like they're doing their job. And I know some people were very pissed off about the lineup today. We'll go over that in about a second or two. And of course, obviously, we were all thinking that Kodai Senga was going to get the start in Chicago for Game 1, but Buck Showalter put Tyler McGill, and I'm honestly not surprised by that. And I actually do like that move because of the fact that Tyler McGill has been very good. He pitched very well in his last start, and I do think putting Tyler McGill against this Cubs lineup, we'll see how it goes. Wrigley can be very interesting depending on the wind out there, the jet streams out there. But Tyler McGill had a very good start last time, and I do think given an extra because of the off day, given another extra day for Kodai Senga can always benefit him. And if you can manipulate a way to do it while you still can, right? Because in September you might not get or August or late in the season when you need Kodai Senga every fifth day. You don't want to do that late in the season. If there's opportunities because of rainouts and off days, do it now with Kodai Senga. He's still pitching in the series, and he'll be facing his counterpart in Marcus Stroman tomorrow, who probably will try to have a chip on his shoulder because of all the way he left the New York Mets. And I do think the New York Mets are bound to do some really good things in this road trip, in the 6-game road trip. And I said it yesterday on the Shea Bridge show along with Hayden, so make sure you check out Hayden as well, who I believe was live prior to that I just got live here, was that the Mets, I think, minimum need to go 4-4. I think anything less than that, 3-3, or anything less is not good. And I'm not going to be happy with that, especially coming back facing a division rival in the Philadelphia Phillies. The Mets have opportunity here. And I put this on Twitter yesterday. If people didn't see it, if you don't follow me on Twitter, it's very simple. TMWRNYM. On Twitter, I posted, what I tweeted was the New York Mets are 4.5 games out of first place against from the Atlanta Braves. And I made a big point of saying that, and other people did too, not just me, is the fact that the Mets over the last month have played really bad. I mean, bad baseball. They're one of the worst records in baseball. They were hovering around where the Oakland A's were in the last month of the last 20-something games or so. When you look at it, looking at the fact that the Mets played so bad that they could have easily been buried in this division. This time last year, the Mets had a 9.5 game lead, hovering around 10 games in the NL East at the end of May. And of course, we all know what happened after June 1st with the Atlanta Braves, how excellent they were. The New York Mets are 4.5 games out in the same position where the Mets were in first place by 9.5 games last year. And I actually think it's a big deal because of the fact that in the last 10 games, the Braves are 4-6. The Mets have played, obviously, 5-1 baseball in the last 6. They're a little bit above 500 in their last 10. I think it's important to realize that, and that was why I kept on focusing on the little bit of positive that was going on with the Mets because of the National League not playing very well and the Braves not running away with anything, because they could have been a lot better and they could have had a lot more room in the division the way they were playing. But you know what? They were losing, a series here, a series there, right? They didn't, they got beat by the Dodgers yesterday as well. And this is not a referendum of saying, the Mets are going to win the division. But where the Mets are after the month of bad baseball is, one, a testament to the National League not being so good, but two, that the Mets stayed afloat. And when you're going through a bad stretch, all you need to do is stay afloat. Stay within striking distance of a playoff spot. Because I've said this over and over again, just get in, baby. That's all you have to do, because anything can happen once you get into the playoffs. As the Mets well know and the Braves well know, considering that the Padres and the Phillies, the second and third wildcard teams, made the National League Championship Series. So that is something that you have to take into perspective. And too many people were so focused on the negative that there was actually positive to take out of that. And it had nothing to do with the Mets playing on the field. It has to do with everybody else around them. And I do appreciate the fact that there was some people saying, hey, look at the division, right? Because when the Mets were going through that stretch, their bad stretch, they were still gained 3.5 games from the Braves, and they actually were gained a game in the wild card, and now they're in a playoff spot in the wild card. Again, people don't want to bring up that, and that's okay, because, only people like to bring up the playoff standings or the wild card standings or the division standings when it fits their narrative to bring up something negative. And the positive was the Mets actually have a prime opportunity here to make a little bit of noise, one, in this division, and two, getting a little bit, of a couple of games increased and a little bit more of the wild card spots that you want to be in. Again, striking distance, it matters, especially early on in the season. You don't want to bury yourself. Like you said, you always hear it all the time. You don't want to bury yourself in April and May. But as long as you're in striking distance, it's important because you don't play the teams that are in your division. You don't play 19 times anymore. You only play 13. So those games you do face them are more important than they were in years past. So once again, guys, thank you for tuning in to the channel today for Mets versus Cubs. We got about 10 minutes until game time. So we are going to talk about the lineup, and I'm going to share my screen in just a second. Let me just move. There you go, guys. Just give me 1 second. All right, guys. So let me just bring it up. All right. So we got the lineup today with Tyler McGill on the mound against the Cubs. We got Brandon Nimmo leading off playing center field. We got Eduardo Escobar batting second, playing second base. Francisco Lindor batting third, playing shortstop. Pete Alonso cleaning up, playing first base. Mark Vientos getting the DH spot, batting fifth. Starler Marte playing right field, batting sixth. Brett Beatty, third base, batting seventh. Tommy Pham playing left field, batting eighth. And Gary Sanchez catching, batting ninth. I know this pisses off a lot of people. As soon as the lineup came out, everybody was talking about, why is Sanchez playing? Why is Sanchez playing? Why not Alvarez? Why not Alvarez? There's a pretty good chance, and I guarantee that Francisco Alvarez is going to play the last 2 games of the series against the Cubs. And I know a lot of people don't like Sanchez, and this is what I believe is going to happen. Again, Alvarez is still about probably a month away for him to join the Mets, and that's if his rehab starts in the minors go well and is whatever he's still doing to get back onto the field. That all has to work out, right? He has to come through healthy with that. Looks like he can actually perform. I like Alvarez. I thought it was a really good signing for the Mets, right? Before he got hurt, he was one of the Mets' better hitters. He doesn't strike out a lot. He puts the bat on the ball. You saw that in the Miami series on opening weekend. So there was polls out there all over Twitter, all over YouTube about what catcher combination would you like to see once everybody is back and healthy. Everybody said 95% said Alvarez, which is obvious. But what I think the Mets are going to look at, and I think they're taking a look at Sanchez here, because of the fact that Alvarez's injury as a catcher is not an easy injury to have. And if he's going to be the backup catcher to Alvarez, there's concerns about him staying healthy. And I do think the Mets are more are looking at Sanchez as, all right, could we use Sanchez as a DH? Sure, we can do that. But that entails the Mets having 3 catchers. And I think that's the thing the Mets are going to be looking into. And the reason why Sanchez is getting a little bit of more looks than people probably want behind the plate. Because you got options in that situation. There's not a lot of pinch hitting when it comes to baseball anymore with the DH now. You don't have to do double switches. You don't have to pinch it for the pitcher. God knows how many times in a baseball game. So you do have to look at it that way. And I do think the New York Mets are in a spot where I do believe that the Mets can actually – let me just change that really quick. So the Mets actually – I think they're actually going to look at Sanchez a little bit more because I think they believe there's a little power in that bat that they could use off the bench. And that's the only thing I'm thinking, not saying that I approve of it because I don't. right? I think Gary Sanchez was just, I don't know. I think because remember, when they signed Gary Sanchez to a minor league deal, they were really concerned about Nito and his eye issue. I don't think they were sure that Nito was going to quickly return back to, his normal self with his eyes. It actually happened rather quickly. And I think that was the concern that they had with Nito, and that's why they picked up Gary Sanchez. And on top of that, Michael Perez, he's he's a fringe major leaguer, right? Mostly a minor league guy, but could be a backup catcher. And I don't think anybody would have a problem with that. But I do think the Mets worry about Nito, because if Nito comes back healthy and his eyes are fine and he still sucks, what do? Right? You can't just have an option of Michael Perez and call it a day. You need a little bit of a threat. You can't have Alvarez, Alvarez can't catch every day, right? It's not happening. And yes, G-Man, I will get to you in a second. I have about 75 people that sent money through the pins. I got through like 30 of them. And I was going through the list on people who a list of people who did it first and then went down. G-Man, you're on the next 10. I promise you that. I already took care of it. I got I'm getting the information from everybody. I didn't expect that many people to actually buy the pins that quickly. So I'm going down the list and I'm on the last like 25. And G-Man, you're on the next 10. I'm trying to do 10 at a time so I don't mess up anybody's address or how many somebody's getting. So I didn't want to I was trying to get to everybody. I got everybody's email. Don't worry about that. Everybody who sent it. I know a couple of people who already got it. The first like 20, 30 people already got it. And most of them are in the mail still. So, and the mail has sucked lately. Like I have trackers on all the envelopes and all that stuff. So I have an idea of who gets it and who doesn't. So don't worry. I got it. I promise you that. But I appreciate, thank you for reminding me. I do have it. Like I got the paperwork right here on my desk, so I don't forget every day that I'm here. So once again, guys, the New York Mets with Sanchez, I know it pisses a lot of people off, but again, Alvarez is a catcher. He's not going to play every day. He can probably play 5 out of 7 days. That's probably what's going to happen no matter what. So people going freaked out about Alvarez not playing. He's probably going to play the next 4 or 5 games in a row, right? And that's probably what's going to happen. And Buzz, you're not getting any good pitcher for Tommy Pham. It's just that simple. People keep on bringing up trades and who to trade, but that doesn't mean you're going to get great. You're going to trade Pham. You're going to get somebody with a 5 or 6 ERA. So how is that really going to help anybody? Muted pin. It's a pin. Pin. Right here. Boom, boom, boom. Right there. There we go. So it's just my channel logo with my, it's just a pin. It clips on and all that fun stuff. So again, I think too many people are focused on the catching situation when it's been a hell of a lot better than in the last basically 2 years. So I think it's important to realize that if you're worrying about the catching situation actually has been good ever since Alvarez has come up. And I do think Gary Sanchez provided, and again, Scherzer had his best outing of the year with Sanchez behind the plate. Don't take that for granted. And again, that's not that, people worried about that, but sometimes, if it works out, it works out. And I know Verlander pitched great with Alvarez behind the plate. So I do not worry about the catching situation. There's many things to worry about with the Mets than the catching situation. The New York Mets are not going to send Francisco Alvarez down, right? I don't care what Andy Martino said, and I don't care what Buster Olney says. If you don't understand them two guys, Andy Martino tries to do anything he can to piss off Mets fans to get people talking about him, specifically Mets fans. And you look at Buster Olney, who is one of the worst reporters in baseball, who's been with ESPN for 100 years, who are basically irrelevant with baseball, and ESPN doesn't care about baseball. If you look at any of their sports talk shows, they never talk about baseball on ESPN ever, unless it's Sunday Night Baseball. That's the only time when they talk about it during sports shows. That is exactly why people got too crazy. Buster only looks for clicks, and Andy Martino likes to piss off Met fans like he always do, like he doesn't work for SNY and mostly the Mets, right? So I don't know why anybody's shocked by that. I don't know why people took that. How many times have Andy Martino has been right in situations when he also wrote in 2015 that the New York Mets should not go after Yoenis Cespedes, and it was a bad trade look at that article and he looks like an idiot, right? So don't take everything with a grain of salt just because he heard something, and don't think that the front office is not going to talk to veteran pitchers that they're paying $86 million to in Scherzer and Verlander, and don't think they're not going to have a say. And there's been some anonymous pitchers, veterans, that says that it wouldn't be good if Alvarez gets sent down. He's been good. So let's not act like Andy Martino and Buster Olney are not looking for clicks in Buster Olney's case, and Andy Martino, who loves to piss off Met fans with any situation he can. So I think we're too worried about that. The Mets game is about to start, guys. So once again, please hit on that like button. If you're a new subscriber of the channel, say what's up. Let me know where you're from, and do not be afraid to say what's up. I don't care if you're not a Mets fan. Baseball fans are all welcome on this channel. You can root for your team. Just be respectful to me and everybody else who is in the chat. We can have our debates about our teams. We can go back and forth. That's always fun. But the New York Mets are going for 6 in a row, starting game 1 at Wrigley Field against the Chicago Cubs, against Drew Smyly, who's been very good this year for the Chicago Cubs. And we know the Mets, not really recently, but at the most of the time, actually have been struggling against lefties. So here we go, guys. Mets Cubs. Brandon Nimmo is about to lead off right about now. Let me change the screen to that. I'm going to put the volume up. Let me know in the comments, guys, if you can hear it. Here we go, guys. First pitch.
Escobar and Lindor for the Mets. Why is Escobar hitting second? Well, he's got phenomenal numbers against Drew Smyly.
Again, there is a method to the madness, guys. Why Escobar is batting second? Because he has great numbers against Drew Smyly. There's your reason.
Their opponent's batting average against him is 201. However, left-handers are hitting 311 against Drew.
So that we have 0.93. That's the
And Nimmo hits a shot, and that might be gone. All right, that's a double. All right, so the ball bounced out of play. It is a leadoff double for Brandon Nimmo, who's starting to heat up over the last few games or so. Nice to see. Michael, I appreciate it. There we go. Good start for the Mets. We actually could score a first inning run. That has been very hard to get this year. Huh.
Basket on a fly, it's a home run, but on a bounce, it's a double. So here's Escobar, who has owned Smyly 8 for 14 with 4 home runs against this left-hander. And that's why Escobar is hitting second in the order. And he's been on a hot streak lately, 7 hits in his last 16 at-bats. And it's hoping to strike quickly, something they've had trouble doing all year. Good fastball by Smyly. It was 1-1.
Brandon comes in the game hitting 323 against left.
Nice swing against that hanger against Smyly for Nimmo.
Did not pull off that ball.
Come on, Eddie.
Slider that wasn't out there enough.
Brandon's now hit in 5 straight games. 1-1 to Escobar, and he fouls one off the right side on play 1-2.
I agree, Mike. Like I said, everybody's talking about the power the Mets have been showing, but it's been the base hits, the run production, the clutch base hits, the clutch sack flies. That's a big deal. No, muted. Escobar has great numbers against Smyly. That's why he's in the lineup at second.
Bounces one toward third. It's foul. Just a night off for Jeff McNeil, who has played in every game this year. We'll see him before the night is over. Let's have 3 players who played in every game this year.
And the Cubs at the bullpen only have one left-hander. That's Brandon Hughes, just like the Mets only have one left-hander. And Wrigley.
David Ross now in his 4th season managing the Cubs, for whom he played. 1-2 coming to Escobar, and he tries to hold up on the curve, and he stopped it in time. 2-2.
CP, anytime, buddy. I'm trying to catch up on all the follows because there's a lot of people following me that I have to catch up on, but I appreciate it. And you're welcome, buddy.
In baseball, it seems to fade at the last moment, almost like a screwball, and it's particularly effective against right-hand batters.
Grant, what's up, buddy?
165 against him. Those are the fastball, and Escobar fouls it back.
Escobar putting a good at bat together.
So we're talking about that curveball percentage has only gone up year after year.
And he's a soft tossing left-hander. He's not overpowering. And I'm not saying that negatively. They've been around since the beginning of this game.
Well, as Rich Hill has proved, if you can throw an effective curveball, it can last forever.
If you know how to pitch from the left side, you don't have to be a little sinker away. You pop inside once in a while. You have to be off-speed pitch. I've seen many a good left-hander.
Scott is now 33 years old. He's played for 7 different major league teams. And Escobar pulls one down to third.
Hit it hard right to the third baseman, 1 out.
And throws out Escobar, so Smiley wins that battle on 7 pitches. And
Not when you look at the numbers, muted.
Cubby infield defense, the veteran John Gomes.
You know, Escobar has been a lot better ever since he became a utility guy and not starting every day. He has 1,000 OPS since Beatty has taken the starting job. So we got 1 out. Lindor coming up.
Second game in Suzuki. Great arm in right field.
Filling in because Cody Bellinger is on the IL. It's a good curveball to start off Lindor. Bellinger bruised his knee, and so he's out. Cubs made a bunch of moves this year to try to rebound after back-to-back losing seasons. Signed Dansby Swanson and Bellinger, Jameson Tyone. How all that has worked out. Curveball taken low by Lindor. Francisco went 5 for 14 in the series against Cleveland.
Well, listen, Vientos has been struggling for the most part. You know, besides the home run and that base hit in the last homestand, he hasn't really done much. But I still like his bat in the lineup. And that's a pop up, and it should be 2 outs, and it is. So the Mets get a leadoff double, and it's Escobar and Lindor getting 2 outs in a row, with Pete Alonso coming up with 2 down.
So it's the first inning.
The first inning has been a house of horrors, getting outscored in more than 25 runs this year in the first inning.
Can't be afraid. It's early in the game.
A dramatic difference from last year with first inning runs. Pete Alonso has really great numbers at Wrigley Field, and is putting up really good numbers this year for the Mets.
And again, you saw Gomes set up inside. This is what we've seen left-handers do with Pete. There's the flags right there. And retired numbers.
Williams, Sandberg, Maddox, Jackie.
Left-handers trying to pitch inside to Pete, established in.
And fastball in for a strike, and it's 1-1.
Pete is hitting 246 against left-handers. Excuse me. There's the splits right there.
OPS just about the same, lefties and righties. He's got 9 home runs in 21 career games against the Cubs. 20 RBIs in those 21 career games.
I was home watching over the weekend that Cleveland series, Gary.
Jimmy, you don't do that early part of the game. You don't add an extra guy on base. Especially the Mets have been showing a lot more power lately in the lineup. It's too early in the game to do stuff like that.
Bring you back or put you ahead late and close.
That's Friday night at the tie of the game. That pulled down the left field line foul. The Guardians got tougher against him in the doubleheader Sunday, when just 1 for 8. But a couple of balls deep to the outfield in that Sunday night game.
Yeah, he's still, even when he goes 0 for 4, it's a vicious 0 for 4.
Cubs are coming back from a 2-7 road trip in which their pitching was dreadful. 7.51 ERA on the road trip, which took them to Minnesota, Houston, and Philadelphia. Sells up in the way to Alonso. Mark Vientos would be next. So a hard-working first inning for Smiley. The last time out against Houston allowed us to 1 on 4 hits over 6 innings, but wound up with no decision in that game. And the Cubs wound up losing.
He had a bad start his first game, start of the season, and all of his starts after have been solid.
Yeah, 1.97 ERA since that first start. Had 2 runs or fewer in each one of those games. No big batter again here, 3-2 with Nemo at second and 2 out. And Alonso takes ball
4, so they walk him first and second. 2 outs with Vientos coming up.
And he wanted 3-2. And
You know, Grant, I was looking at that too. I wasn't sure what it was at first, but yeah, it looks like an old flip
It's
phone.
not intentional walk. It's not even a semi-intentional walk, but it's a I don't really care that much if I walk. He has to face a rookie who he hasn't seen before. Well,
All right, so 2 for 11, as I said with Vientos. Besides that base hit and that home run, hasn't really shown much offensively. See if he gets started here.
Takes the first pitch curveball out of the strike zone for ball one.
surprised that Vientos.
Yeah, I see him, Grant.
Smiley.
Come on, Mark.
Cubs must have played the Mets.
Take a base hit here.
And lost to the Cubs. Get swept at home by the Cubs.
Oh, he missed a hanger. Damn.
Last year. That September sweep by the Cubs was part of a greater, a broader meltdown by the Mets that last month.
Them flip phones are gonna be. They're gonna last longer than the human race.
1-1 to Vientos, and he chases that curveball away.
Come on, Mark. Swing at that crap.
Smiley's got the lowest whip of any qualified pitcher in the National League. Mitch Miller had a remarkable year for the Pirates. Second on that list. Interesting thing, though, there aren't that many qualifiers these days. Starting pitchers are pitching fewer innings than ever. Smiley barely qualifies. 1-2 coming. They have the dirt blocked by Gomes, 2-2. You have to have at least one inning pitched for every game your team has played. Cubs have played 46 games, and Smiley has 50.
Well, Matthew, I don't think anybody would mind a homer, but you know, with the Mets struggle in the first inning, I take a base hit here and at least get 1 run, especially with a leadoff double to lead off the inning here with nobody out.
Once that summer heat comes to get those westerly winds, that's going to start blowing out.
So wait till tomorrow. 2-2 coming at the end, so he fouled that.
All right.
Tomorrow.
Good way to stay alive there.
71 at game time with the wind blowing about 8 miles an hour. Tomorrow at game time, it's supposed to be 53 with the wind blowing straight in at 20 miles an hour. It is going to be a frigid playing experience tomorrow night. I brought my sweaters. And, great night to pitch. Kodai Senga will get the ball from the Mets tomorrow against Marcus Stroman. 25th pitch of the inning coming from Smiley.
And he strikes out, and the Mets do not score in the first inning yet again. And the Mets had an opportunity to do some damage here with a leadoff double, but do not get it done with their big boys up in the lineup. And the Mets do not score in the top of the first. McGill coming up on the mound. Well, LeSean, listen. Honestly, like, why not be mad at Vientos? Right? He's putting up ungodly numbers in the minor leagues, and he's 2 for his last 12. Right? Again, he can turn it around just like Alvarez did, just like Beatty did. But you know what? You can criticize the young players. Why not? Right? If they're going to be a big part of this team and help us win, you can criticize him. He has 2 hits and 12 at-bats. And that is the big issue. You know, and it's all right. Listen, do I think Vientos? Look, I don't think everybody, and that is the big reason why the Mets, you know, probably the least favorite guy in the minors as their top 5 prospects is Vientos. You know, again, he doesn't have a position. You know, he's basically considered a DH at this point. If you're not hitting, well, what can he do, right? But he's on the major league roster. Again, it's early. It's only 12 at bats. I'm not going to kill him, right? Because Alvarez started slow, Beatty started off a little bit slow, so I'm not surprised. I mean, if one thing for sure with these Mets prospects, give him a little bit of time. Who knows? And you know, Vientos has been playing the least out of Alvarez and Beatty, so that doesn't help his case either. You know, so that's on the Mets there. But again, when you're not hitting, you know, that's why Vogelbach is annoying because of the fact that he takes the bats away from Vientos. All right, Tyler McGill on the mound, bottom of the first, no score.
Pulling his weight. His last start, I thought, was his best. And it was a much-needed good start. The Mets starting pitching has started to turn the corner.
Nico Horner just activated off the injured list Friday, came back from the hamstring. He's 9th in the National League in batting at .299. outside 1-1. First round draft pick.
Joe, are you shocked?
2018 out of Stanford.
Yankees and Cole can't be good teams.
45 games. It was the first time he had played more than 48 in a season. That's how often he's been hurt. Already once stepped on the IL already this year.
So McGill had a really good start his last time out. He threw everything. Pinpoint control. That's what I like to see from McGill. His fastball was a little bit up miles per hour wise, and he was throwing that fastball letter high and higher, and I think that is important for McGill to succeed.
Coming here, whether the wind was blowing in a gale or whether it was blowing out.
You, once again, the Braves cannot be good teams. How about that? It's not a coincidence, guys. Ground ball should be the first out, and it is. Well, I remember everybody talked about the Orioles. Nobody worried about their lineup. They needed pitching because their pitching is still a little bit of a concern, starting pitching, because their bullpen's pretty good. But are we shocked what the Braves are? The Braves are like this every year. They destroy the bad teams. You know, they'll be 20, 25 games over 500 against bad teams, and they'll hover around 500 against good teams. That's what they do, and that's a ground ball right at – oh, nice play by Escobar. Nice play to get Swanson. Oh, that must have hurt. Escobar's on the ground. Looked like he hurt his knee. That's not good. That's not good. Looked like he twisted his knee there.
Joe Goldie, the head athletic trainer, will come out along with Buck Showalter.
Well, LaShawn, the Mets were also playing the best team in the NL with the Dodgers as well, and they took 2 out of 3. Right? But the Braves, that's their MO. They don't beat good teams. They don't do it all year. Look at their records. All right, so they're looking at his ankle. The ball, ground ball, hit off the glove of McGill, popped up in the air. Escobar went to get it, barehanded it, and he twisted his ankle throwing the ball, and that's where he's on the ground, and the trainer is checking him out. But what a play by Escobar.
Just a terrific play. Oh,
yeah, Matthew, if this is a problem, Mauricio is definitely going to be up. Well, you know what? He's playing. He's staying in. Escobar's not coming out of this game. All right, Eddie. Good job.
Showalter 67 today.
Remember one
There you
thing
go.
about ankle injuries, that's a slight sprain. You can still play. You're standing up, you're on it, the blood's rushing down. Keep an eye on him.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever done that, especially with cleats on, and just it's a rough feeling. You know, it's always a little scary going over to going side to side in baseball because you can always roll that ankle. So the Mets have 2 outs. First 2 men, McGill got out on ground balls. And we got a new member of the channel. Welcome, Carlos Ortiz. Ortiz, I appreciate it, buddy. New member of the channel. Thank you, Carlos. I appreciate that.
5 years ago, right by that was after the high fastball from McGill, and it's 1-1.
Hap is one of those guys. His splits are a big gap. 167 against left-hand pitching.
So his switch hitter in the lineup, and he's not been good at all from the right side.
What I liked from McGill, and I'm seeing it right now as he did it in his last start, that fastball throwing 95, 96. If you throw that letter high with all these uppercut, launch angle swings, they chase those pitches. Nice pitch. Carlos Ortiz, shout out to Carlos once again, new member of the channel. Come on, Tyler, let's go. And he struck him out with the changeup, and Tyler McGill looking good. Mets need those quality starts. They get quality starts, they win ball games. So we're going to the top of the second, no score. Let's see if the Mets can get rid of those first inning woes and put that behind them and get some runs here in the second against Drew Smiley, which his pitch count, the Mets, at the very least, the Mets got him to 24, 25 pitches in the first inning. At the very least, they got the pitch count up. Again, you'd rather have the runs, but with the bullpen of the Cubs, not really that good. And again, can you go around baseball? What is there? Maybe 2, maybe 3 teams that have good bullpens? Like the majority of the teams in Major League Baseball have problems in the bullpen. And that's probably the one thing you probably don't want to have a problem with, because the last thing you need is 7 or 8 teams going after the same bullpen at the deadline, which looks like the Mets would probably have to do to solidify that bullpen a little bit more. You can't always count on Drew Smith, Raley, Ottavino, and Robertson. You can't, throw them every single time, and that's why you see the Tommy Hunters of the world and, guys like that. So, yeah, man, I know a lot of people are talking about that. But again, the Mets, unless there's a ton of injuries, these guys are not coming up. And again, you're not winning anything with any of those guys in AA right now and AAA right now. You're just not doing it right now. All right. You got to count on Verlander, Scherzer, McGill, Senga. You got to count on those guys. And Quintana's are looking to get back soon. He might have a rehab start in about a week or 2. Well, Joe, it's actually about time the Mets are actually targeting pitching. And you know what? They better go after college pitchers. I don't want to hear, a freaking high school guy that's like 18 years old who's not going to be in the majors for 4 years. Give me college guys. Give me top college guys. All right, guys. Starlin Marte leading off in the top of the second. No score. See if Marte can continue to stay hot after his great game on Sunday.
Marte had the go-ahead home run in the first game Sunday.
Marte ground ball. That's another nice play. 1 out.
Join us on June 3rd, Met fans, as Howard Johnson, Al Leiter, Gary Cohen, and Howie Rose are inducted into the Mets Hall of Fame. How'd you get in there?
How come you didn't have a nickname for us?
Cohen, the ceremony will start at 3:30, folks. Get your tickets at Mets.com/tickets. I'll be there.
Yes, you will. I'll be there too. Fred Beatty was 1 out. He takes up an air ball 1.
Congratulations, brother.
Well, thank you. It's nice to, I was the only member of our broadcast team who was not. That's all.
You were shunned.
Will you welcome me in that? Is there a secret handshake?
Ground ball should be 2 outs.
Flip to Smiley right on target, 2 out.
And I do know I'm freezing a little bit, guys. I apologize. For some reason, the internet's been wacky today.
To get me into the whole process. Thank you very much, Keith. I appreciate that. I knew you had juice, but I just didn't know how much. I get such a good mood.
Oh, you're the one from Cicero, New York. All right. Awesome, man. Carlos, I do appreciate the super chat, buddy, and I appreciate the support. And I hope I continue to give you great coverage for as long as possible, guys. And Carlos, I do appreciate that once again. If my mouse would actually work and everything else, which is annoying at this point, but I apologize. So once again, thank you, Carlos, for being a new member of the channel. And, of course, the super chat, which I always appreciate, from upstate New York, 10 minutes north of Syracuse. Go Orange. Thank you once again, Carlos. I appreciate that. All right, Tommy, 2 outs. Let's see. Got a little power in you?
I would say rather than tense, I would say he's intense.
Okay, good point.
Of course he did.
He's very strong, that's for sure.
Well,
Runs all against left.
you know what, guys? Listen, when it comes to, offense take their time, yeah, but you know what? Smiley has been their best pitcher all year, and he has a 2.5 ERA, under a 2.5 ERA. So he's been good this year. So it's not just the Mets that have been the problem. And Tommy Pham strikes out on a low curveball to end the inning, and the Mets do not score in the top of the second. Go down 1-2-3 in the top of the second. And once again, guys, I do apologize for my in and out with my camera right now. For some reason, the Wi-Fi was acting weird all day today. Like, even my Netflix was acting crazy, and everything was just going wrong today. I don't know what the hell was going on. I tried to reboot it and everything, but we have days like this, and this is what happens when you're live, right? All we can do is just move forward and push on, right? That's what we always do. So, but as long as you get the sound, which I hope is coming in pretty decently, at the very least, the hell with my face. I don't care if it's frozen, as long as you can hear the game. That's all I care about. Yeah, well, like I said, Grant, Smiley has been great this year for the Cubs. If you look at around what Drew Smiley faced this year, he's been dominant against basically everybody. So, do we really, I didn't expect to have a low-scoring game, but why not, right? Tyler McGill looking like he has a good fastball today. Nice cutter, nice slider. So that's a good sign for McGill. And, of course, Smiley, with that nasty curveball, he doesn't throw hard. But you know what? He has pinpoint control, especially this year. So, you know what? If it's a low-scoring game, the Mets can win those too, right? That's the way they've been doing it. And, they've been winning 1-run, 2-run ball games. So it's not like it's been a trend for the Mets lately. So as long as they keep winning, it doesn't matter how you win. It's just, do you win? And I think people keep on talking about how we won. And, there was too many people using excuses about the Mets. They faced a team that had injuries. Well, the Mets had injuries as well, but nobody wanted to talk about that when they were losing. All right, so here we go. The Mets are playing the Cubs. No score, bottom of the second. And that is a shot to center, and that ball is gone. And is that Morel? Seiya Suzuki with a solo home run to center field. That was a shot to center field, and, well, that was a shot.
Pulled in from, whoa, he almost fell down and touched home plate.
Suzuki at 14 home runs in his rookie season last year, 182 in 9 years with the
Well, that was a fastball. He was trying to get ahead, and Suzuki just crushed it.
Just above the belt, and he clobbered it there.
Now the hottest hitter on the planet, Christopher Morel. Morel was up with the Cubs last year, played 113 games, but he struck out a ton, and so they did not put him on the roster at the beginning of the season. He got off to a great start in AAA, and they called up Morel 2 weeks ago. He's played in 11 games. He's hit 8 home runs in his first 46 at-bats. He's had a hit and a run scored in all 11 games. It's the first time anybody's done that in Major League history in their first 11 games of the season. I mean, you can't get him out right now. 19 home runs in 40 games combined between AAA and the majors. And the third ball from McGill sails outside.
What McGill can't do is get flustered here. Just keep on throwing again. Was it a bad pitch? Yeah, but he was trying to get ahead on the first pitch of an at-bat in starting off the inning. So, and that's ball 4. That's not what you want to do.
We're going to take a look at the home run again from the rear side. And goes and gets it out in front. But I like the follow through. Look at the top hand coming and not a big uppercut.
So McGill, after a tidy first inning, has given up a home run and a walk to start the second. And now Mike Topman, the former Yankee, takes his cutter inside for ball 1. Topman spent last year playing in Korea for the Hanwha Eagles. Came back to this country, signed with the Cubs. Just his second game since being called up. Cody Bellinger going on the injured list. So Topman with the Yankees and Giants and Rockies originally drafted.
Well, Marcus, Lucas Giolito would be nice, but again, what are you trading for? Who are you going to trade? That's the problem. The prospects are up. Like, who are you trading? That's the problem. They're not taking Tommy Pham for Lucas Giolito. They're not taking Vogelbach for Lucas Giolito.
The Mets got great starting pitching on Sunday from Scherzer and Verlander. McGill, for the most part, has held up his end.
McGill's had a good start. Senga, I felt had his
Ground
best
ball
start.
should be one out, and it is. The runner moves over to second. A ground ball the first, so he gets one out.
Well, you can remember here not too long ago the Mets starting ERA, starting pitchers.
Cleveland is not trading Bieber. At least not right now.
Mostly healthy now. I mean, Verlander didn't pitch for the first month plus. Scherzer's had to start and stop.
Matthew, it depends on the team.
And as far as Senga's concerned, it would have been his turn to pitch tonight, but they are being careful with Senga and trying to keep him on a similar schedule to the one he used in Japan. Here's Patrick Wisdom. So Senga's going to be pitching on a full 6 days rest tomorrow when he faces off against Marcus Stroman in Game 2 of the series. Carlos Carrasco goes against Jameson Taillon, who's just at double the time after signing with the Cubs. Senga said tonight that he would be happy when it gets to the point where
They didn't call that low strike.
Rotation like everybody else.
Yeah, man, I agree.
That's a big
You know, now that you see Alvarez is showing he can be a major leaguer, Parada becomes that big trade chip now.
Pitching on the 6th or 7th day before they get back.
Come on, Tyler, let's go.
Regular 5-day rotation if they do. Slider in for
Go,
strike.
nice slider, up high slider.
Wisdom is
1 and 2.
All or nothing hitters. Got to a great start. Got 12 home runs, hitting only 226 and 59 strikeouts. Ouch.
Struck out 183 times last year. And that goes off the glove of Sanchez to the backstop.
That's a bad pitch by McGill there.
And over to third goes Morel. Well, these are the problems that eventually ran.
Gary's got to
Gary
catch that
Sanchez
ball.
on runs.
A little bit of laziness behind the plate.
They called it a wild pitch.
I thought they would call it. I marked it well.
But you got to do a better job.
He was set up inside and was missed wide. That's why I felt it was being ruled a wild pitch.
Now the infield comes in. 2-2 to Wisdom. And McGill was a cutter and it's fouled off. Wisdom last year, 25 home runs for the Cubs. We got 12 this year. It's 6th in the National League in slugging percentage. It's a legitimate power threat. He's a guy who can strike out, and that's what McGill needs right now with a runner at third.
You know, this is what we've seen over the past 15 years. A lot of hitters have been.
Yeah, Marcus, I don't think they're trading Ramirez. You know, especially with, the question mark in left field after Cannon's gone.
2-2 coming.
Ramirez could be a big, and he strikes him out on a slider, 2 outs. Nice pitch by McGill. Big strikeout there with a man on third.
So 2 away. Morel's still in
Yeah,
third.
I think Alex Ramirez is very, very high in the Mets organization. And again, you sign Nimmo, but Alex Ramirez can play the corners. When you have Marte for 2 more years and there's nobody in left field next year, Ramirez could be an actual choice for the Mets. Another high slider inside for a strike.
But they're 16-8 when Gulp starts. Tucker Barnhart as their backup catcher, Gold Glover with the Reds.
Did you notice our spikes on our middle infielders? Looks like the little lime sorbet and orange sorbet.
That's Escobar. That's Lindor. But with Lindor, it's every day. It's going to come out with some spectacular color.
I think he signed a 2-year deal with the Giants. I don't want Conforto back. He's not the same player.
Right field doing with some rather nifty orange spikes as well.
Do you like the belts here on the uniform, the orange and blue belts?
Sure.
Ground ball. It's going to be a tough play. Damn it. Good pitch by McGill, but unfortunately it was a high chopper, and Beatty had no chance to get him out at first, and it's 2-0 Cubs. That's unfortunate right there. That was a good pitch by McGill.
He couldn't make the exchange, Beatty. Because Gomes doesn't run well. He just couldn't get it out of the glove. Gomes spun on that hit with an RBI, ribeye steak in it.
So the Cubs have 2 runs home against McGill here in the second, and now Matt Purvis, rookie first baseman, called up 2 weeks ago. Hasn't hit much yet.
Well, we got to say one thing here. The Mets are kind of used to this, playing from behind early. There it is right here. He just couldn't find the handle.
I don't know.
I'm not sure about that.
I think he gave up on the play, and maybe he shouldn't have.
Maybe he felt, well, we're speculating that he didn't have a proper grip, was worried about throwing it away. I don't know.
If Gomes running, he certainly had a chance if he releases that ball. Purvis hit 40 home runs in the minor leagues last year. And he hits this one.
Uh-oh, that's a shot. That's gone. 4-0 Cubs. Well, Cubs are hitting home runs.
Matt Purvis with his second major league home run. And the second inning is come crashing down on Tyler McGill.
Not what you want to see from McGill right now.
He's not there. He's fell behind the counts early. He's just making pitches over the middle here. And
Not a good pitch. Right over the plate.
The ball was away, but it was up. And with the wind blowing foul ball right to left, it's going to carry to left field. Looks like.
Mets down early, 4-0. Not what you wanted from McGill when the Mets have been getting quality starts.
And he stayed back, hit it right up at the plate, all the way. Hit it where it's pitched. And he said, welcome to Wrigley Field.
368 in the gaps. That'll happen.
Oh, that's been McGill's problem this year, for sure.
Chopper toward third of foul ball. It's 1-2 to Horner, who rounded out his first time up. Harris, the former Met, showing off his arm. Threw that about 50 rows deep. 1-2 coming. Yeah, Horner hits his short.
And right at Pete Alonso, but not before the Cubs score 3 runs in the bottom of the second. And that was an unfortunate ground ball. That was a high chopper that unfortunately Beatty couldn't do nothing with. That was a good pitch. But the next at bat against Mervis, you cannot give up a home run to a 9-hitter. You just can't. Relax, LaShawn. Relax. It's early in the game. Let the Mets bats come back up and let's get it done. Yeah, well, you know what? This been McGill's problem. You know, it was his problem last year after he came back from injury, and it's been a problem this year. But then again, Mets pitchers have been giving up a ton of home runs this year. They lead the league in giving up home runs, so this is not new. But McGill's got to be better. That's obvious. Got to be better. Yeah, and again, you know what? You know, that was a shot there, but again, the jet stream is running out to left field and left field and left center and center field. So you got to get those. You got to get those balls up in the air. The Mets got to be, got to get those balls up in the air in that jet stream. President, it's the second inning. Don't say that again, guys. The amount of nonsense that I hear from you guys. The Mets have come back in every game in the homestand almost. In the 5-1 homestand. Like, guys, stop. Like, I just don't understand, guys. And this is not a Cubs team that's gonna, that is great. All right. So let's just see what they can do. You get a couple of runs here and there, you're right back in the ballgame.
3 so far as a Met. After tearing it up for a week in Syracuse.
He looks
Exactly, Grant.
thinner, more fit.
The wind is blowing out to left center and center field. Tomorrow it's going to be 20 miles per hour inwards.
The Giants opted out of his AAA deal there and would have with the Mets as well had they not called him up. And
Mad Bum is done. He's done.
Sanchez. This one out to right, easy for Suzuki.
So 1 out.
Yeah, that's the first out. So Smiley, after uneven beginning, has retired 5 in a row.
He's a trickster on the mound. Soft toss and lefty.
See those widescreen
Yeah, Nick, why not?
boards, which are a relatively new addition here in Chicago.
I have not been here since the scoreboards. I've not been here, I think, 3-4 years. Ronnie got caught with hog in Chicago.
Nobody comes back every game, but they've shown that again. You can't be behind all the time. Like, that's obvious. But that doesn't mean they can't.
Because they were so tight between the stands and the foul line.
The playoffs last year were based on comebacks. Last year. So, and October is a different animal. But why are we worrying about October when it's May?
It's a hitter's delight.
Especially down those right and left field corners. It's inches between the line and the wall.
And Nimmo strikes out to us.
Smiley gets the strikeout. That's his third. And we're 2 down to the third out. Wrigley Field, the second oldest ballpark in the major leagues, still in use. VENMO. That's the only old one.
Well, Marcus, it's been the whole year the Mets have been playing from behind.
Dodger Stadium.
That's right.
I mean, listen, it'd be nice if the Mets have a lead early. That would be nice, but
Rolled his ankle, make him play in the first inning, could stay in the game. Escobar
Again,
pointed out his first down
it
left
sucks.
Smiley,
I get it, guys.
he has thrashed over the years. Something about pitching at Wrigley Field agrees with Drew Smiley. His last 11 starts in this ballpark dated back not a full calendar year. He's at a 1.77 ERA.
And you think in this ballpark, you're going to be kidding.
Well, means he's picking the right days to pitch. Right? The days the wind is blowing in, this is as good a pitcher's ballpark as there is.
Started in Detroit, went to Tampa, Texas, Philly, San Francisco, Atlanta, and now landed here. Found his home.
He's here with the Cubs and a great start. That's mound and foul. He and Justin Steele have done a great job holding down the Cubs.
I agree. You know, people kill the lineup, but at the same time, you know, when you're constantly behind, it's hard to, you know, kill a lineup that always has to come up from behind. It's tough. I don't care who your lineup is.
Huge question. And especially very inexperienced. They don't really have a closer. So if you get Smiley out of the game, you got a chance to come back from this kind of deficit. 2-2 to Escobar, and he pops one up foul third base side on the sell on play.
So we talked about the bullpens down the right and left field line. And you mentioned outfielders coming in for fly balls. Also, third baseman and first baseman going back those shallow pop-ups. Boy, oh boy, I was always worried about that mound, the rise in the mound.
Correct, Carlos.
Escobar
And pops it up. Should end the inning.
Right near the bag.
And it does. Mets don't do anything in the top of the third. 4-0 Cubs going to the bottom of the third. And, you know, a couple of mistakes by McGill. And again, an unfortunate situation. McGill gets a ground ball that, you know, that is a high chopper that Beatty doesn't have a chance at first base. And then the home run happens. So, you know, that's just unfortunate event right there. And again, look, you don't want to always be behind in games, right? And the fact of the matter is, if the Mets have shown that they can come back, again, you don't want to have that situation every single time to come back in ball games. But what the Mets have shown over the last week is that they can do it, right? If you give them a chance to come back and slowly creep back into a ball game, we saw it against the Rays, we saw it against the Guardians. They can do it. So, to get, you could, it sucks that you're behind, but they can do it. Yeah, well, again, the wind's blowing out right now, so there's the opportunity to get it there. Yeah, Grant, I agree. I agree. No need to throw it away and make it more difficult. Yeah, so it is 4-0. So the Mets, again, they've been scoring runs, and with the power that they've shown over the last week, you get a couple of men on. You need one big swing of the bat, and you're back in this ball game, what the Mets have shown all week. And again, get into that Cubs bullpen. That is the key, right? Smiley's pitching well. He's been pitching well all year. This is not an anomaly where you're facing a guy with a 6 ERA and the Mets can't get him. He's actually pitching very well this year with a 2.5 ERA. So he's been beating a lot of teams this year. He's been their best pitcher. So, LaShawn, why are you talking about missing the playoffs? The Mets are in a playoff spot right now. And if you check the Braves score and the Phillies score, they ain't looking too much better, right? For a Braves team that everybody keeps on saying it's so good. They don't beat good teams, and they should have blown out this division already when the Mets are playing terrible for the last month, and they haven't. So, again, nobody's running away with nothing yet. And talking about not making the playoffs is a joke when the National League is not as good right now.
Swanson happened Suzuki. Swanson hit one off McGill's glove that Escobar got a terrific bare hand play to throw him out.
McGill just can't find the range. He's fell behind Irvin in that last inning, then made some pitches over the middle where he's falling behind Irvin to Swanson.
A lot of changeups early in this game. He's got hurt with them. Gets a strike with it. It's 2-1. Swanson last year played in 162 games for the Braves. He was one of their MVP candidates, 25 homers, 96 RBIs last year in Atlanta. Fastball for a strike 2-2. And at age 29, became a free agent, and he was one who the Braves opted to let go. He signed a 7-year, $177 million contract with the Cubs.
Ooh, just outside. McGill Doty had that strikeout.
Drake is the home plate umpire. 8th.
TD, I don't know. It depends on how Carrasco pitching, and a nice strikeout against Swanson. 1 out.
That's the third strikeout.
I think it depends on McGill and Carrasco. Whoever pitching better is going to stay in the rotation, and Quintana's going to take the spot of the person who's not. And I think a huge problem with this rotation was Quintana not being in this rotation. Quintana was a big key to this rotation because he gives you innings, and he pitched extremely well last year and can throw gems, and he can provide innings, which the Mets need this year. Well, Marcus, he's been healthy for the most part throughout his career, and he's been a workhorse. Unfortunately, in this situation with him, remember, it was a scare with a mass on his rib, right? That some thought might have been cancerous. So they had to do surgery, which obviously kept him on the shelf. So it wasn't like it was a baseball injury that kept him out. And, Sanchez almost squeezed that ball, but 1-2. Matthew, I don't think you want to mess with that. Again, you can't throw these guys in, give them, 7 days off and then throw one in, the other one in the bullpen. You can't, these guys are a habit of, they have routines.
Today is when he's struggling right now, early with the command.
Well, Suzuki jumped him first pitch in the inning. That was passing ahead, yeah.
Well, isn't that all around baseball, though? Daniel, what's up?
2-2 coming out. He strokes one up the third baseline.
It's an emergency act right there. Jeez. Like a candle. It's still being looked at.
2-2 coming. Just inside the fastball 3-2. Happens when 4 first-round draft picks in the lineup games tonight. He and Nico Horner were both taken the first round by the Cubs. Swanson, first overall pick with Arizona. Patrick Wisdom was the first round pick for San Diego.
Ground ball right to Pete, and should be 2 outs, and it is. LaShawn, he is not a thug, all right? If you know his history, he is one of the better players around the league, does a lot for charity, and if you know his history, especially with his family, he has a lot of tragedy in his life. Mom passed away, wife passed away. He's had a lot of tragedy in his life. No, DD. The Arizona Diamondbacks are in a wild card, number 1 wild card team. He's not going to be available. Yeah, Grant, exactly.
Slider down and it's 2-0. In the second inning, they have changed the call on that, what was originally a wild pitch against McGill. They changed it to a fastball. Doesn't affect the earned runs because of the home run that followed. So all the runs in the inning are earned nonetheless. 3-0 to Suzuki, with McGill being careful with the Cubs right fielder after he took him deep first time up. And he walks him on 4 pitches. Second walk.
Yeah, that's what happens when the guy takes you deep on the first pitch. You're a little scared to throw it around the plate, but can't do that with 2 outs.
He is struggling right now with his command.
There's Morel, who walked his first time up and scored a run.
Looks like cat whiskers. It's eye black.
Well, with 8 home runs in his first 11 games of the season. Only 2 players in history have ever hit more in their first 11 games of the season. He's blocked there by Sanchez. Just Mike Schmidt with 9 in his first 11 games for the 76 Phillies. And Luis Gonzalez hit 9 in his first 11 games for the 2001 Diamondbacks. Those are the only 2 guys who have ever hit more home runs in their first 11 games of the season than Christopher Morel has. He hits this one in the air.
And it's a fly ball. Should stay in the ballpark. And it does. Marte catches it, and it is 3 outs. McGill gets out of the inning, 4-0 Cubbies, and going to the top of the 4th, guys. So, yeah, you made that's a good point about the White Sox. They have a lot of guys there, a couple of pitchers. But again, we can talk about trades all we want. We're still, 2 months away until the trade deadline, right? It's just a matter of, and again, if you've been paying attention to all the situations with the Mets, and the big reason why they didn't make big moves last year at the trade deadline, they're not giving away these guys, these prospects. All right? Everybody wanted the young kids up. You got the young kids up. Well, you know what? Now they're not trade bait, right? I'm assuming Mauricio might be up at this point, but as I said, for 2 years now, Ronnie Mauricio is the biggest trade chip in the Mets farm system. I've said that if you want a big name pitcher or whatever the Mets might need at the deadline, right? The starter rotation might come to form if Quintana gets healthy and Scherzer and Verlander pitch the way they have over the last couple of starts. Who knows, right? The Mets might not need starting pitching. They might need a big bat in the lineup. If it's somebody who is – no, you made – I'm telling you guys right now, Ronnie Mauricio, I don't care what he's doing in the minors, and I've said this over and over again. Ronnie Mauricio is the trade chip for the New York Mets. Parada, yes, sure. But I'm telling you guys right now, if you're looking for something big, it's not going to take one prospect, all right? It's not going to just take one prospect. And I've been saying this for years. Ronnie Mauricio is the biggest trade chip the Mets have. they've been unwilling to give up Ronnie Mauricio, which is hilarious to me, considering the fact that you basically signed people in the infield and traded for people in the infield that was blocking him. So it's kind of weird with that. But all right, here we go, guys. Top of the fourth, Mets down by 4.
Now as Francisco Lindor leads off the half the inning for the Mets. And I noticed the other day on Sunday that when Lindor was leading off an inning after Max Scherzer had pitched a long top half of the inning, he wanted to know from Scherzer if we should take the first pitch for the first pitch of the at-bat.
All right, so 3, 4, 5 is up for the Mets.
He said, with the way the new rules are and how quick the game is going, I'm extra aware when I'm leading off an inning of giving the pitcher a little bit more of a blow. So sometimes if the pitcher has a long half inning prior, I'll not only ask to take the first pitch, but then I might call timeout before the second pitch just to make sure that there's an extra minute or so for the pitcher there to get his bearings about him again.
Popped it up. Should be 1 out. Might be a problem. Ooh, that was interesting. 1 out. No explosive. No. Not Soto, please. Not Soto. Soto's a shell of himself. And I'm telling you guys right now, Ramirez is not going anywhere. He's probably going to be a left fielder of the future. I'm telling you that right now. Again, and more teams are going to be looking for Ronnie Mauricio because he's going to be more MLB ready than other guys that we're talking about right now. And Alonso just hits a shot, and that ball is gone. Solo home run for Pete Alonso, dead central, 4-1 Cubs. Alonso's 18th home run of the season, and the Mets get on the board with a 434-foot shot from Pete Alonso. There you go, guys. That is a run, and Pete Alonso continues to stay hot.
18th of the year, and the Mets now down 4-1.
First ball, fastball, jump
Right there. Did not let that fastball go to waste down the middle. Unfortunately, the Mets don't have nobody on. All right, Mark Vientos up 1 out. 4-1 Cubs. Again, it's early on in the game, guys.
We have yet to play a third of the season. Mets will have played a third of the season by the end of this road trip. He's got 18 home runs. So certainly on a pace for far more than 50. And you wonder after Aaron Judge's historic year.
Right now, Vientos is not looking good at the plate.
He's got a 60.
Well, I'm not going to say Pete's going to come out of the shadows because
I've never said nothing about the average. Even though,
but he's kind of been,
you always want a power hitter to have like a 250, 260 average. No problem.
Pete's numbers are awesome.
Well, if you go back,
But, you bet 230, 240, you hit 50 home runs and over 120 RBIs, I think you're okay.
home runs than Pete Alonso. Not Aaron Judge or anybody else. 434 feet on that last bomb. 1-2 to Vientos, taking a little 2-2. So, Steve, are you still there?
I'm here. Where do you think I went?
I thought maybe you were out the way looking for cup steaks since it's our first.
Yeah,
time
LaShawn, but what you don't understand is that Soto's career, he's a 300 hitter. He's batting 260. It's a big problem, especially a guy who can hit 35, 40 home runs a year.
Yeah, for sure.
And he hasn't been doing that. He's been a shell of himself in San Diego. And a guy who's basically playing for a contract, a big contract.
Sometimes you catch lightning in a bottle, and you don't want to overdo it. I will say that I did text my good pal Cupsteak Jake today just to see if he was going to be out here, and the plan is potentially.
And Vientos strikes out on a high fastball, 2 outs.
For him to be out here tomorrow, so Jake will basically be here tonight.
I didn't know that you were in contact with Cupsteak Jake.
I'm in contact. Last year, Cupsteak Jake in August actually sent me a selfie of him from the bleachers with a cup snake behind him and just said, "We miss you, Stevie."
Well, it was his 15 minutes of fame. Just make sure you don't give him too many more. It's Sterling Marte with 2 you take a strike.
Can you fill me in here?
Are you not watching last year when we were at Wrigley? And
No, it wasn't.
you know what a cup snake is,
No,
right?
no.
It's when the fans out in the bleachers where Grandstand, they take their empty beer cups and they stack them, and it goes up for row after row, and Steve got right in the middle of it, and he was introduced to Cupsteak Jake, who we interviewed live on TV, and that's where we got the expression, basically the eighth Steve.
Okay. Keith, he said, he was telling me about it, and he said, what's it now, the eighth inning, the ninth inning? And I said, no, it's the seventh. He goes, no, basically the eighth.
So basically the eighth Steve has become,
Mate ground ball should end the inning, and it does. So the Mets get 1 run on the board from the power of Pete Alonso, dead central, 434 feet, 4-1 Cubs going to the bottom of the fourth. So once again, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button if you haven't already. Let's get more people in the stream. We've been averaging about 100, and that is always awesome. President, it's only 1 run, but it is only the 4th inning, right? And if you follow the Mets and you pay attention to the Mets and the scoring that they do this year, and a lot of it was last year as well, but mostly this year, the New York Mets scored a majority of their runs between the 6th and 9th inning of the ball games this year. The majority of their runs come from 6 to 9 innings. That's basically what they've done. Again, not saying that that's a recipe for success, but that's what they have done this year. And what they do best is they get to these teams' bullpens, which most teams do nowadays. So, and that's all the Mets have to do. You keep them to 4 runs. Again, you don't need, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits in a row. You get, 1 or 2 hits, a big blast here, and you're right back into the ball game. So we are going to the bottom of the 4th, and the Mets trail by 3 runs. Let's see if Tyler McGill can get a quick inning here and get the offense back onto get the bats back into the box and get some runs here. Here we go, guys. Bottom of the 4th, 4-1 Cubs.
All that was what Jake said. I've had a few drinks in. Wrigley fans. It was a scary TV moment as the Cubs thing has already begun in the 4th inning. You're on live TV and the microphone belongs to somebody who you don't know and you're really not sure what he's going to say. So Steve, you were a warrior.
If you go back and watch that clip again, you see at the very beginning, I had a big, wide grin on my face, and then all of a sudden it goes away because our producer, Greg Picker, said, take the mic away from me.
Yeah, but what's the point of having rules unless you break them, right?
I felt really good about him in the moment, only because before we went on, he asked me 2 questions. He said, can I say hi to my family? I said, sure, you can say hi to your family. And he said,
not every member of his family.
No, I didn't think it would go on that long. And then he said, do you want me to say the word beer? And I said, why don't you say beverage instead? So I thought if he was cognizant enough to ask those questions before going on, we'd probably be okay. But let's just say, I don't think I'm going to try that again.
1-2, Mike Thomas.
President, yes, it has.
First time up.
And Strider also gave up 4 runs, so who cares about the strikeouts? Everybody strikes out in Major League Baseball. It's been a problem throughout Major League Baseball. I think we give too much credit to pitchers who strike out a ton when Major League Baseball has a problem with strikeouts. You know what I like to see? How many runs did he give up? Yeah, that's more of a problem than strikeouts.
No, he did not. I gave him full access.
Yes, you did, and you lived to tell about it.
President, what are you talking about? That makes no sense, buddy. It's May, right? Last week you said the season was over and they were going to win 75 games. The other day you said, nice play by Tommy. Oh, he drops the ball. Wow. That's not good.
Alvarez popped out.
And then it was out.
Jeez.
And it was a juggle back.
Dos Manos.
And cuts up empty, and it's an E7.
Well, that doesn't help you
They
pitcher
had
out.
16 errors this year, second fewest of any team in the National League. But that's a leadoff error. And now Wisdom pounds one into the ground foul. Nothing more. Wisdom struck out his first time up. Right after Alonso's home run, got a run back to the Mets. McGill is in instant trouble.
Ken, I didn't do nothing.
Missed the outside corner of the last right. And McGill struggling a little with his fastball command, and it's 2-1.
And he's missing on that outside part of the plate to righties. He's just off the plate with his pitches.
Gloves on deck. Talkman at second, and nobody out. He can run for a big guy. And it's up and in to Wisdom. 3-1. Well, the Cubs started out hitting wonderfully in the early season, 326 with runners in scoring position in those first 19 games. And surprisingly, averaged 6 runs per game, but during this skid, a different story. It's a 3-1 slider that Wisdom swings it out of the strike zone. That's a little hard to comprehend.
Wisdom likes to swing the bat. He chases a lot. Thus the strikeout. 60 on the year of his first innings. Second inning strikeout.
So 3-2.
And he strikes him out. That's a big strikeout from McGill there.
Strikes out again.
Boy, that's just no pitch recognition. Yeah.
4 strikeouts now from McGill. That's the first out of the inning.
So you know he's had 2 similar pitches, Gary. 3-1, 3-2. Same break. Don't you, as a hitter, realize that that's what it's going to do? So he's way out in front, too. So he's already finished it. I'm being too critical.
Now Young Gomes, and he takes a fastball strike. So the second inning could have gone very differently for Tyler McGill. He had given up a home run to Suzuki. The Cubs had a runner at third with 2 out, and Gomes had a chopper off the plate. It took a second bounce right before it got to Beatty, who was charging. Beatty opted not to throw the ball to first base, and it was hard to tell why, whether he felt he didn't have a grip on it or that he didn't have a play. Well, with Gomes as a slow-running catcher going down the line, he might have had a play, and had he thrown him out, could have saved 3 runs, because the next batter, Matt Purvis, hit a 2-run homer. Swing and miss and a slider, so you'll get some mileage out of that pitch. It's 1-2.
That's funny, Grant.
So he's starting to get that downward break on his slider. He's still out of the strike zone. The Cubs hitters have just been helping him out.
Come on, Tyler, let's go.
1-2 coming to Gomes. Led off that slumber, 2-2. Little strikeout numbers this year have been down. He's averaging less than 7 strikeouts per 9 innings, which in this day and age is very unusual. 4 strikeouts and 3 1/3 tonight.
And nice strikeout, 2 strikeouts in a row for McGill. Exactly what he needed with the error from Pham. Should have been out of the inning, but nice to see McGill's slider has been sharp, and the hitters can't read that pitch.
He's using all of his pitches more, but before he was probably with just gas, low gas.
Matt Purvis with a 2-run homer. He pulls
Ground ball, that's a base hit through the hole.
Marte's throw to the plate is not in time. Down to second base and out at second is Purvis.
And the run scores, and it's 5-1, but they get the out at second base to end the inning.
Play at second. Cubs lead it 5-1. We'll wait to see if they challenge the play at second base. So Mervis drives in his third run.
All right, so they're checking.
And Ross is going to challenge the call at second base.
They're going to challenge the call at second.
I thought he beat the tag here. We'll see. Right here. I think he got in.
Does look like he was safe. So if he is, the inning will continue. The run scores either way. An unearned run, only the fifth unearned run against the Mets this year. Second base umpire Roberto Ortiz called him out. I mean, Murph's a rookie, but he walked away. Did not stick around and ask for the Cubs to challenge the call. Now he's back at second base.
I mean, he looks safe.
James Hoy and Alfonso Marquez are the crew chiefs in the replay center.
But again, the call is out on the field, and we've seen this year
So we no longer
they haven't been changing calls that unless they're 100%
Now, it's a good
seen,
base running by Mervis with 2 outs.
to change, but we'll see.
To get this fifth run.
The call on the field is overturned.
And the runner is safe at second.
So we just got in, and the tag is up at the knee, and it's late.
So the inning continues. Cubs win the challenge. Mervis picks up his third RBI of the day. He came into the day with only 4 RBIs.
Well, that's true, Ken. They've been changing calls against the Mets. That's been a trend as well.
He's got 3 RBIs.
And I brought this up with the Mets and the Yankees. The umpires in Major League Baseball have been completely against the New York teams this year when it comes to replay and the sticky stuff, for sure. It's been a little bit ridiculous, actually. In total, the Mets and the Yankees have three calls overturned this year between the both of them.
Escobar tried to come across, but he wisely saw there was no cutoff.
That's pulled in the hole. Lindor sets and fires. High throw. Alonso comes off the bag.
Tough play in the hole. I don't think he would have got him anyway. First and third, 2 outs.
Alonso to take a quick look at Mervis to see if he was trying to score, but he had stopped at third. That'll be an infield hit for Horner.
Yeah, and once again, the defense, Pham missing that play extended the inning because there would have been 3 outs and there would have been no extra runs scored.
Well, here's the play deep in the hole on the outfield.
I don't think he would have got him anyway. Let's see. Yeah, he would have probably been safe.
Offline.
I think Horner had a chance to beat that anyway.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, Ken, I'm not going to kill McGill because Pham kind of fucked up that inning as it is. He should have been out of the inning.
Jeremy Hefner out at the mound to talk to McGill. Dominic Leone.
All right, so the pitching coach is out. Hefner's out, talking to McGill. Dominic Leone is warming up in the Mets bullpen. But the defense has not helped out McGill today either. Each time the Cubs scored, there was either an error or a ground ball that the play did not get made, and there you go. All right, so see if McGill can get out of this with only 1 run.
Swanson takes fastball down for ball 1. Dansby Swanson, originally drafted first overall by Arizona, traded to the Braves. And it turned out to be a great deal for Atlanta.
Sure was.
Swanson swings and misses a changeup 1-1. Braves have had trouble replacing him. And Arcia has gotten most of the reps. Juan Grissom was called up for a while. Got sent back down.
Arcia's a journeyman, a nice player. They thought Grissom was going to be able to do it, and he hasn't.
Yet. That's why.
Oh, it's a base hit. It's 6-1 Cubs. McGill cannot get out of the inning. Errors in the game. Error causes to extend the inning, and McGill can't get out of it on his own.
Ever before, this is going right with the pitch. Too much. That's a ball he could have pulled, but he didn't
those 2-out RBIs are Cubs. 3 straight 2-out hits for the Cubs. And Tyler McGill's night has an early ending. McGill out after 3 2/3. Dominic Leone will come in to replace him. 6-1 Chicago in the fourth.
All right, so McGill's coming out of the game. Dominic Leone is coming into the game. Mets trail 6-1 in the bottom of the fourth. Yeah, and that is the problem. Ever since McGill got hurt last year, when he started off extremely hot and he looked dominant, he got hurt, and ever since then he has not been the same. And his last start he looked really good, and then this start he just can't get out of his own way. The defense technically didn't really help him, but you got to get out of the inning with 2 outs. You got to help your defense as well. Again, Tommy Pham catches that ball, he gets out of the inning with giving up no runs, but unfortunately, he didn't do it. And yeah, Todd, it's the big problem with Quintana. Again, McGill should be either a bullpen piece as a long man or a guy that should be in the minor leagues as a guy who has to come up for an injury. And again, he's your number 5 starter technically, and he's been a problem this year. Way too inconsistent. Well, Mark, that's been a trend, right? Again, the lineup's got to pick up the pitcher, but over the last like 3 days or so, the pitching has picked up the lineup for the most part. Listen, you gotta, can the pitching pick up the lineup every now and then? That would be nice. Well, JL, look, the Braves are starting pitchers are down, and the Mets had 4 out of their 5 starting pitchers down as well. But it is no excuse. Again, when McGill wasn't supposed to start the year in the rotation, it was supposed to be Quintana and Carrasco. Again, Carrasco has been dog shit, obviously, but it's not like he's been, that's a problem. But anybody who you wanted as a 5th starter, Peterson, McGill, none of them has pitched well. So, it's basically a crapshoot as your 5th starter at the moment. All right, so Dominic Leone is in the game, 6-1 Cubs.
2 out and 2 on, and half throws 1 foul on both the roof and out of play. Leone's last outing Friday against Cleveland, not good. He gave up 4 hits and 2 runs in an inning plus. McGill had his best first inning of the year, but then everything turned south from there tonight. Mets are down 6-1. Slider by Leone, and it's 0-2. McGill went 3 2/3, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, and 2 more unearned runs at least here in the 4th inning. 1-2 struck out 5, gave up 2 home runs through 78 pitches in 3 2/3. Warner at second, Swanson at first, and that takes up and in. Fastball, 1-2. Some nights it just go your way. One-two coming to half. Slider with the dirt, 2-2.
Did they make any changes to the center field scoreboard? I remember.
You mean the hand-operated scoreboard?
Yeah.
No, that's the
My eyes must be going bad because I used to be able to read that scoreboard perfectly
well,
when I play.
our eyes have deteriorated. So
I'm ready to throw on the towel.
you have a towel.
It looks clear.
Yes, that shot, doesn't it?
Remember old, famous. Remember they had the guy up there with the binoculars.
Runners get set to go, 3-2, 2 out. And half takes ball.
And Leone walks him, bases loaded.
Lost a little walk. And now the bases are loaded for Seiya Suzuki. And the Brewers could come off this game very quickly. This just came back from a 5-run deficit to win over the weekend against Cleveland. That's their biggest comeback of the year. But Suzuki comes there with a chance to do more damage after his second inning home run. Bases loaded, 2 down. Cutter outside from Leon, ball one.
These are the at-bats the RBI hitters savor. Bases loaded. You could just blow the game wide open with a base hit.
For tonight, the Mets have given up 400 runs this season, and 2 of those came in extra innings. So those weren't the result of errors. That's just the rule in extra inning that for 3 runners scores, it's an unearned run. So really 2 real unearned runs all year. 2 more in this inning and a chance for much more. And that's on the corner. And it's 2-1.
Those traditional sub home uniforms. I love them.
Oh,
I like the.
did you like it when you were a Cardinal?
I did because I always pull the cuts out.
Well, Leon walked his first batter, and now he's behind Suzuki, 3-1 with the bases loaded. Warner, great speed at third. Swanson and Pham both run well. They're at second and first. And Suzuki in a great spot. And he takes a strike to the inside corner. Over that pitch, 4 down.
And they go back up on the inside corner, and Suzuki felt it bent around the corner.
So now the runners will all be in motion. Warner, Swanson, and Pham will be going 3-2, 2 down.
Ground ball should end the inning, and it does, but not before the Cubs get a couple more runs and make it 6-1 after 4. Top of the 5th, 6-1 Cubs. Well, Mothman, you might not buy that nonsense, but even Ohtani never pitched every 5th day in his first year with the Angels. They skipped starts. They pitched him every 6th, 7th, 8th day. This is what they do with pitchers. Tanaka, same thing. Same thing with Yu Darvish. This is what they do when Major League Baseball teams get guys from Japan. This is what they do. This is not something new. Scott, I don't want to hear about Vasil in AA. That doesn't mean he's going to pitch well in the majors. And again, once again, guys, stop talking about these pitchers in the minor leagues. If they were ready to go, they would be up here. All right? You wouldn't be playing around with Peterson and McGill for every freaking year. All right? That doesn't mean they're ready because they're striking out AA pitchers. All right? Let's not act like these guys are just going to come up and dominate Major League Baseball. He's one of our prospects. Todd, I agree. And Ohtani, look, when Ohtani pitched in his first year, he was great. You know, I don't want to hear about Pham. I don't want to hear about Vasil and all those guys. Again, guys, you build depth with the guys the Mets had. You're building depth. And again, we were counting on these guys because guys were hurt, right? You're not expecting Peterson to be a number 2 starter. You're not expecting McGill to be a number 1 starter, right? Scherzer, with the suspension, missed a couple of games. Verlander was out a month. You were counting on David Peterson and McGill to pick up those guys' slack, which is not going to happen. And again, Senga's not pitching today because when Senga pitches every 5th day, he has a 5 ERA. Let's remember that. And on the road, he's been terrible this year. He's been great at home and terrible on the road. So pitching him every 5th day isn't very smart at this point when he's been absolutely terrible on 5th days.
Began raggedly tonight. He gave double the demo and walked to Alonso in the first inning. A 25-pitch first inning, but other than Alonso's home run, we had the 4th. Smiley has been impeccable since. Retired 10 of the last 11.
Andre, they were talking about it. It could be sometime. He'll probably have. He's got to go through his spring training process. He didn't have a spring training, so probably the end of June, probably.
That game against LA, he retired the first 21 batters, and then David Peralta hit that little field dribbler up the third baseline, and both Smiley and Jan Gomes went after it. Smiley probably 2-2 to Beatty with Pham on deck.
And Beatty hits a shot. Does it stay fair? No, just foul.
Smiley's been great everywhere, but particularly here at Wrigley Field. One bad start to begin the year against the Reds, and since then it's pitched with a 1.97 ERA. 33-year-old has never been better.
And that is a ground ball right to Swanson. 1 out. You know, everybody can talk about the lineup all they want. When your pitchers give us 6 runs, I don't care if you have murderer's row at the lineup, all right? You're not winning ball games like that.
So 1 out and nobody on. Tommy Pham coming up, and we check in with Steve.
Gary, you mentioned in his first at bat, Tommy Pham's been hitting the ball really hard.
Yeah, but Mothman, he's not healthy. He's not pitching for the Rangers. The Rangers are winning despite him. And the Mets were the best team in baseball without DeGrom. They were worse with DeGrom last year. So who cares about DeGrom? Can we stop talking about fucking DeGrom? Jesus Christ, come on. That's just a stupid comment. I'm sorry, Mothman. I love you, but come on. Let's not talk about DeGrom when he never pitches.
Even though the ball was hit hard, you feel good about those at bats. Spent a lot of time before the game today doing drills to make sure he stays through it. So for Pham, it's good that he's hitting the ball hard, but he needs to be hitting it consistently on a line more often than he's been doing it so far this season.
And Pham strikes out. And again, guys, it kind of like, you know, Scherzer, Verlander, DeGrom can't pitch every single day. Right? Can't pitch every single day. Let me try to find a 4th or 5th starter on teams that aren't bad. Can you find one? This is what you get in Major League Baseball now as a 4th or 5th starter. This is what you get. You know, does everybody want Taijuan Walker? He has a 60 ERA. Right? Bassett pitched well this year, but Bassett probably didn't want to come back to New York after his stupid comments before and after the playoff game against the Padres.
It fades in the other direction. That's what a lot of the right-hand hitters say.
I mean, that doesn't look like it's a wicked curveball.
Yeah, but again, Mothman,
Or slider. Yes, get that.
nobody has 3 great pitchers in their rotation. All right, let's be honest.
Doesn't meet the eye.
No, baseball doesn't work like that.
If he were coming up today, they'd probably tell him to throw it differently. Because it doesn't.
Committee, I don't think Bassett wanted to be here. All he did was bitch and moan about the pressure of New York and how the fan base are on with every start, live and die with every game. He said that. That's the guy you want in the clubhouse. That's the guy you want on this team. And since it's a ground ball, should end the inning, and it's over. Top of the 5th done. The Mets do not score. Todd, it's not the fact of that. The fact of the matter is that here's the problem with baseball fans, and this goes around not just Met fans. This is all around baseball. When somebody doesn't pitch well and they see somebody doing well somewhere else, well, let me ask you something. Where's the pressure harder, Toronto or New York? All right, the 2 biggest games of Bassett's career in New York was the game against Atlanta and the game against the Padres. He gave the Mets no chance in that game, both of those games. So that's the guy you want back? Like, I just don't understand that. Great. So we'll have a great start every 5th day until it matters in late September and in October? That's the problem. Like, let's stop acting like Chris Bassett was going to make or break this team this year when in the first half of the season, it was the lineup. In this part of the season, it was the pitching, right? And Bassett, in his first couple of starts, wasn't very good either. So it just doesn't make sense, right? Right? McGill pitched good in his last start. All of a sudden, that's the McGill we remember, right? You know, we're focused on one game and one game only, which is understandable, right? Right? People are bitching and moaning about the lineup today, but your pitcher just gave up 6 runs. So was Alvarez going to hit a 6-run home run? Probably not, right? Last time I checked, you could only hit a grand slam, right? Again, it's not that easy to come back in a ball game when your pitchers give up 6 runs. It's just, I'm sorry, I don't care who's in the lineup. I don't, again, let's yell at Pham for not catching that ball that could have got McGill out of an inning without giving up a couple of more runs. We just assumed because Bassett had a good year last year that Bassett would be good this year after his stupid comments after the Braves series and after the Padres series. Todd, it doesn't matter. Bassett didn't do the job. It doesn't matter. That's very simple. I don't care who fouled off what.
Base here in Chicago. Morel is walked and flied out tonight. 0 for 1. And he chases one out of the strike zone.
Leon strikes out. The first batter of the fifth, excuse me.
Rare game where the Mets defense has betrayed them so much. There's that Toronto.
Committee, have you checked Trevor Williams' ERA?
9 runs.
All right, it's been over 5. So let's not act like Trevor Williams is going to save this rotation.
Yeah, position player took it up.
Trevor Williams last year was an anomaly of how good he was.
Topman with the liner to left, the Pham dropped, opened the way for 2 runs in the 4th. And he pulls that one to right, and that's down.
And that is a base hit. Goes to the wall, and it should be a double. And it is. Guys, when you bring up a pitcher, do you actually check the stats of the pitcher? I mean, why don't we just get Taijuan Walker back? He's been great for the Phillies.
So the Cubs have their 7th hit.
Again, Williams, exactly, Andre. Williams wanted to start every day. There was no guarantee he was going to start every day with the Mets. You can't predict injuries.
He is gone fishing twice tonight.
Cutter on that first pitch and he fouled it off. That last at bat is particularly eye-opening because McGill.
Well, exactly. That's my whole point.
Threw up on a slider out of the strike zone, then he chased, and then he went back to the same pitch on 3-2 and struck him out.
Did the same thing the next batter, Gomes.
3-1, Keith.
What do you mean?
I mean, it's one thing to chase when you're even on the count, you're down on the count.
Oh, I see.
You're hitting 3-1.
That's
Do I see Wright ever becoming a manager? Probably not. He's going to enjoy his money and his family.
Leon ahead on Wisdom 0-2. Got a piece of that fastball. Saw it cut. Well, the Dodgers brought up a young pitcher named Bobby Miller tonight, and he threw 5 terrific innings against the Braves. Dodgers have all sorts of pitching problems with Dustin May out for the long term, and Willie Arias on the shelf as well. So Miller came up and threw 5 innings, 1 run, 4 hits against the Braves. Dodgers were up 4-1 in that game. That gets away from Sanchez.
And he swings.
Third. He'll make it without a throw.
All right, so it was a check swing. The runner from the wild pitch. That was a rough pitch by Leon right there. Almost an impossible block by Sanchez to keep it in front. That was a rough one right there. And he got body in front of it.
Laterally.
And
Alvarez do it effectively, but Sanchez is a player.
And the runner gets the third.
Infield in now. Leon needing a strikeout. 1-2 coming. And he strikes out Wisdom.
All right, 2 strikeouts from Leon.
So 3 at bats, 3 strikeouts for Wisdom. Second strikeout for Leon. Another 2 out of Leon.
That's a nice pitch.
Let the men on base. He's having a rugged night.
Yeah, I don't think enough people understand the game of baseball. Like, I just don't understand it.
Second, and then struck out in the 4th.
There's nothing to panic about. Right? Bad teams beat good teams all the time. Bad teams, the majority of them, are going to win 60 games, and great teams are going to win or lose 60 games as well. So
The last 16 games that the Mets.
Committee, don't say that too loud. Met fans will get on you. Because everybody wanted Lugo. Oh, the Mets should have got Lugo as a starter when he was never going to be a starter with the Mets. And he breaks down over the course of a season, right? He's already breaking down as a starter. And Mothman, 90 wins will get you into the playoffs this year in the National League. Yeah, but Mets fan, if he's hurt, he can't pitch. So they need you to still see Peterson and McGill and all of those other guys.
Wind blows out.
Can we stop bringing up DeGrom?
Wind blows in.
DeGrom has been hurt every year in the last 3 years. When he pitches, he's good. But he's not in the – you can't just have a guy that pitches 15 games every year and say, oh, great, let's give him $170 million for 4 years.
Foul. It's 2-2. Tyler McGill went 3 2/3 the last 6 runs for the Murdoch.
Yeah, Hayden, I think McNeil asked for a day off. I think that was said on the pregame. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it was said. Yeah, Gary Sanchez makes no sense today. I didn't get that move. And Leon strikes out. Leon pretty good since he came in for McGill. 6-1 Cubbies going to the top of the 6th. Yeah, Todd, that's true. But you know what? The Phillies didn't have a great run differential last year either, right? And it kind of worked out. I think I don't like, run differential is very skewed, just like runs per game is skewed for offensive as well, right? You could score 12 runs in one game, not score any runs in the next 3, and then score 12 runs again, and the runs per game look really well, right? Run differential is the same thing, right? But again, it's unfortunate, but it's not like the Mets are, a team. This is a team that run differential was always a thing. If you look at the Mets run differential last year, it wasn't great, right? They had a lot of low-scoring games. They had a lot of close games, but they won them. That's the difference at this point right here. But again, people are panicking. What are you panicking for? The Mets won 5 out of 6. What is it? 7 out of 10, I think Grant said. And they just found their way back into a wild card spot, and they're 4.5 games out of a Braves team that's not playing well right now. And that is with a month of bad baseball from the Mets. As I said prior to the game, the New York Mets played bad for a month. Yet the Braves didn't run away with nothing. They should have buried the Mets. The Mets should have been over 10 games on 10 games out of the division by now, the way they played. Mets fan, no, it's not. It's not at all. I'm sorry, buddy. Right? But Scherzer pitched better than DeGrom all last year. I don't want to hear about DeGrom no more. All right? The Rangers are winning despite DeGrom. So what is DeGrom doing for anybody? DeGrom is collecting his money without anything. So leadoff man, Brandon Nimmo, and gets a base hit to lead off the inning in the 6th. There you go. Andre, I said that early. You just got to get Smiley out of the game.
And that's just good hitting right there. Brendan hitting over 300 against left-handers. And Smiley having difficulty against left-handers this year. And that is just out right there.
All right, see if the Mets can get some runs on the board here.
Got 2 of the 3. Here's Escobar. And he takes a fastball strike. Escobar has grounded out and popped up against a guy that he has owned over the years. Now 8 for 16 with 4 home runs against Smiley. He's trying to get something moving here. Down 6-1 in the 6th. The run coming out of Alonso, home run in the 4th. Cutter runs inside.
Watch Nimmo's head and his eyes. Right on the ball. The old first thing they teach you, all you kids out there when you're little league, keep your eye on the ball. It's very basic. It's 101 in baseball.
Hit it.
It's like the alphabet.
Well, Escobar is playing because he has great numbers against Smiley. Pham and Sanchez, I have no idea. I have no evidence or excuse to give you for that one. I have no idea.
Steve Magosic is up in the Mets bullpen after Leon's soaked up an inning and a third. A little blooper into
And that might drop, and it does. Mets get first and second, nobody out in the sixth with Lindor. Alonso coming up. Yeah, Mets fan. He did a lot in 2018. Hasn't done nothing since 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. Well, 2019, excuse me, since 2019. Ever since then, he was basically non-existent in a Mets uniform.
We're down 5 runs. He was thinking, but then he's thinking third base, but no, not when you're 5 down.
Well, now you got a chance to slice some meat off this deficit with Lindor and Alonso coming up. Francisco's 0 for 2 today, 2 flat ball outs, and he takes a curveball outside.
And again, the Mets scored the majority of their runs this year between the 6th and 9th inning. Between those innings.
Lead has been insurmountable.
Alonso is winning with 74 runs batted in for the first 48 games.
Lindor hit shot for foul.
Ahead of that cutter, and it's
It's the ones that fool the outfielders. Full swing, and it's off the end of the bat, and it's a dork.
great shots. I'm sorry, provided by our director, John DeMarcico. It's his birthday today,
John,
so be nice to him.
and Bucks too, correct?
They didn't work on the same day. John's a little young. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, there's the birthday hat. That's great. Did you see the cupcakes?
yes, I have.
John's what? Brenna said cupcakes. Here we go.
Great for my waistline.
2-1 to Lindor. And that's
Well,
the
3. All right.
Now it's 3-1. And Alonso's
Good
on
at bats by Mets hitters in this inning.
Smiley, who had been going through the Mets like a knife through butter. He had retired 13 to 14 before this inning. Back-to-back base hits, and now 3-1 to Lindor.
Ball 4. Bases loaded, nobody out for Pete Alonso, who just hit a home run in his last at-bat. So Smiley can't find the plate, and the Mets have a chance to get right back into this ball game. Just like that.
Supplied the Mets with their only run so far tonight.
Smiley on the first pitch fastball. Number 18. Yes, the Ocho.
And Smiley is done.
All right, Drew Smiley's coming out of the game. So there will be a pitching change. The Cubs bullpen has been not very good this year, but Alonso did hit Smiley deep, but taking no chances, keeping Smiley in there. Can Pete Alonso do some damage here? Again, we all want a grand slam, but you know what? Keep the merry-go-around moving. So once again, guys, this is basically the Mets in a nutshell this year. Innings 6 through 9, they score the majority of their runs. And, they did a lot of that last year as well. And they're doing that again this year. So they're a team, you're a little later in the game here. You might see a couple of pinch hitters. You might see Alvarez hit for Sanchez. You might see somebody hit for Pham, maybe even. You never know. But there's an opportunity here for the Mets to do some damage here. I actually like them taking out Smiley in this situation because, after Pete Alonso, Beatty comes up. And, Beatty struggled against lefties for the most part so far. So it's nice they're bringing in a right-hander, so that might help Beatty in that situation. But the Mets have an opportunity here to get right back in the ball game, put some runs up on the board. Bases loaded, nobody out in the top of the 6th for the Mets. And Pete Alonso coming up, who just hit a home run in his last at-bat. Yeah, Todd, I agree with that. But you know what? Can't change the situation, right? We're in this situation down by 5. All you hope for is that the lineup, who's been coming back basically every game lately and winning ball games. Listen, you know what? Now you got to count on the lineup here. All right, so Jeremiah Estrada, who has been pretty decent this year. He only has 6 games, a lot of strikeouts, a couple of walks, inherited 5 or 6 runners, so he hasn't gave up any earned runs this year. Let's see. Alonso swinging at the first pitch, but fouls it off. We do. He pitches tomorrow, committee.
Nicely for the Mets. Running to their power part of their lineup.
Come on, Pete.
VENMO singled, Escobar singled, Lindor walked. Alonso a grand slam to tie the game against the Guardians on Friday night. He takes one up out of the strike zone. Ball to strike.
Mets fan, what does that matter when Soto's not a free agent for 2 more years? It doesn't matter today.
It does.
Come on, Pete.
Try to hit the big bomb here. Stay within yourself. Keep the train running.
1-1 to Alonso.
Ground ball, nice play. Gets the out at third, but only gets 1 out. A run scores. 6-2 Cubs. First and second, 1 out. So that was almost a disaster for the Cubs. That was a nice play by Wisdom right there.
Tough play.
But gets the lead runner at third, and a run comes in. So we got 1 out, first and second. All right. Interesting move. Mark Vientos has been struggling. Daniel Vogelbach is pinch hitting for Vientos. So there you go. I seen this coming with pinch hitters in these innings.
Lindor at second, Alonso at first with 1 out. Vogelbach takes a fastball up out of the strike zone, ball 1. Vogelbach got the starting game, 1 of the doubleheader on Sunday. Was on base 3 times with 2 walks and a single. He pops this one up along the left field line. Half coming toward the stripe,
And it blows out of the play.
The wind is blowing right toward left. Well, that saved Vogelbach and out there as it blew the ball across the foul line and into the stands.
And the dimensions of Wrigley Field. There's no foul territory down there.
It's not blowing all that hard, maybe 8 to 10 miles an hour, but it is blowing in that direction. So another chance for Vogelbach with a 1-1 count. Marte on deck. And Vogelbach
Oh!
in front of the air to center field.
Yeah. Wooden track power. Damn it. Lindor goes to third on, and Alonso gets to second base. So good base running by Lindor and Alonso. Vogelbach hits one to left center, but catches it at the 1 track.
Second and third for Marte.
You're right. Talkman kind of drifted on this. Very heads up by Pete.
Good base running for Lindor and Alonso.
Made the decision, the right one.
Now basic complete 2. Marte has grounded out twice.
All right, Marte up.
Alonso at second.
2 guys in scoring position with 2 outs.
Right.
So good heads up base running by Pete. A 2-out base hit right here. You got a brand new ball game.
And Marte
Ground ball should end the inning. And the Mets only get 1 run with bases loaded, nobody out, and only 1 freaking run. And the inning is over. Vogelbach hit it hard, but got that 1 track power to left center. And just missing a home run by about 10 feet. And the Mets only get 1 run out of that in the 6th inning. So 6-2 Cubbies in the bottom of the 6th. Yeah, committee. I think it's funny, right? With Stroman, right? It wasn't about like nobody really cares. Like, yeah. Well, at least Vogie hit the ball, right? Either he walks or strikes out. So that was kind of shocking that he actually put the bat on the ball. But yeah, I get it. I get it, guys. Andre, I agree. Vogelbach's not a power hitter anymore, and that was something that always annoyed me about getting him last year. Where was the Vogelbach fan club that was very annoying last year? Oh, look at the on base percentage for Vogelbach. I can care less about a fat bastard who can't run to save his life about on base percentage, right? I don't care about that at all. So, unfortunately, the Mets only get one run out of that. Yeah, Pete Alonso up, got a ground ball. Again, Pete can't do everything, right? You got to worry about all the guys to get it done. But yeah, that was an interesting situation there. I'm surprised McNeil didn't pinch hit there, other than Vogelbach. But we've seen Buck. When he gives a guy a day off, he gives a guy a day off, especially a starter. Andre, I don't know, but I think they're gonna give Vientos a chance because Alvarez started off slow, Beatty started off slow, and they started to pick it up. So, you expect these young kids to struggle at some point. That's this. They got to get adjusted. Every step in the minor leagues, they struggled a little bit, and then they figured it out. And I think Vientos will do the same thing. So Negosic's coming in for the Mets. Bottom of the sixth, the Mets down by 4.
Breaking balls in the dirt.
Oh, damn, Grant. Was it your cat?
Right, messed up their base running. And I guess that last outing was pretty bad because Steven has cut down on the mustache.
Hey, listen, I agree. Marcus, I agree with you guys. I agree.
3 of the 6 Chicago.
He's basically a half-tool player, right? That's basically it. He walks. And that really doesn't help. It would have helped in that spot, since you're down by a couple of runs. But, I haven't liked Vogelbach since last year in the trade. Oh, Jesus, Grant. All right, so Negose comes in and walks 4 pitches. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Listen to the game.
Now Nico Horner up for the 4th time. Yeah, infield hit his last time up, a deep short that he beat out. He gets one in the air to left field. The wind will help this one as Pham goes back and makes the catch. And Purpose will stay at first base. Horner flies out for first down. Chris Spector won high-speed hitting tonight. Not surprising, Pete Alonso's home run by far the hardest hit ball in this game. That ball 434 feet into the bleachers at left center. It was Dansby Swanson who drove in a run with an opposite field single his last time up. 1 for 3 on the night. Takes a breaking ball out of the strike zone. Goes to ball 1. Better looking slider there, and it's 1-1. Well, Swanson played 162 games last year. One advantage that the Braves had for many years. They had guys who would post every day. Freeman was that way during his Braves tenure. Swanson. Now they've got Matt Olson doing the same. Has played 155, 160, 162 games a year. Freeman helped beat his own team last night, a big 3-run win for the Dodgers against the Braves. Beat him. 1-2 coming. Fastball foul allowed only 6 from Negosa. The Dodgers and Braves are in the 7th with it only up 5-1. And 4 runs the first 2 innings against Spencer Strider tonight.
He got off to the hot start, but Striders have run into a little bit of the trouble there.
At a time when they really need him to be at his best, with Freed and right out for the long term. 2-2 out of Swanson. It seems like every team has multiple important pitchers.
What a crazy score. 20 runs for the Blue Jays against the Rays. Baseball is funny. And strikes out Swanson.
So Negosa fans Swanson for the second out.
He chased up and in. He wanted to throw it away. The target was away. He missed up and in and got the strikeout.
Well, the Diamondbacks beat the Phillies for the second straight
Well,
day.
Phillies lost again. Mets are the Dodgers are losing 5-1.
Fouls off first pitch fastball, 0-1.
Matthew, I wouldn't say the Rays are falling off. I mean, they played a little bit better after they left New York. So
Eighth inning RBI single from their flat rookie Corbin Carroll to stop a tie with that game by a run. Pitch by Negosa jamming out. It's 0-2.
That's what finally play the Phillies. They come home off the road trip.
It's not just the Mets. The Phillies have played just a small handful of games against the National League East over the first 2 months. Three of their first 47 games this year against the NL East.
It's not right.
Well, the good thing is that means they'll have more down the stretch.
They can pick up ground, yes. For them, yes.
1-2 coming. But the way they have decided to manipulate the schedule now with everybody playing everybody, fewer division games overall, and that really mutes the pennant races that you want to have come down the stretch. 2-2 coming to Hap, and that's just off the plate ball 3. Julian Merriweather is up in the Cubs bullpen. After Jeremiah Estrada did a really nice job minimizing the damage in the last 10 minutes. So the bases loaded, nobody out, got just 1 run. Burris gets set to run, 3-2 to Hap is on the outside.
Oh,
corner.
wow. We got that call on the outside. That looked like ball 4, but the umpire called strike 3, and the Mets get out of the inning with no run. 6-2 Cubs going to the top of the 7th. Yeah, Arizona's a good young team there. They're getting good pitching. Their lineup is pretty good. You know what? Listen, they're probably not going to win a division, but they're definitely in contention for a wild card spot. They're leading the wild card right now. The number 1 wild card team. Oh, Matthew, they'll probably. I think it's going to take 2 years. Oh wait, well the Rays, the Rays are not going to sign people. They're not, right? They signed Wander Franco to a very, very team friendly deal, even though it was a lot of money, right? Guys like Randy Rosarena, they're not paying him big money. Once he gets his final year of his contract, I guarantee you, either they're going to trade him at the deadline or keep him and just lose him. But the Rays always do this. Once the guy gets close to free agency, they trade these guys. That's what they do. Well, Mets fan, you know what's funny about that with the Padres, with Arizona? Arizona wasn't very good last year. Arizona, you could see the difference. They're about, I think they're top 7 in starter ERA. Their lineup is pretty good. We keep on giving the Padres all this credit, but they have more stars than probably half of baseball in their lineup. And nobody talks about the Padres choking every year. It's like we give credit to the Padres all the time. It's crazy to me. Yeah, exactly, Matthew. That's what they do. They get the most out of the guys, and then they trade them, get 2 or 3 prospects. They sell high every single time. Well, if that only actually was possible. All right, Julian Mayweather in the game for the righty for the Cubs. He got a 5 ERA. Brett Beatty leading off. Mets down by 4.
Was the last few years. Facing lower third of the order. Beatty, Pham, and Sanchez in the top of the 7th. Brett takes a 98-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike.
Great job by Estrada coming in with the bases loaded. Only allowing 1 run, nobody out.
Beatty's been up twice, runs it out both times. And he chases the high fastball at 99 miles.
Yeah, they're going to get it, though. It's more about the tax dollars that are going to go into that. That's really where the money they're fighting over, but they're going to get it. They'll get it.
3 batters faced, 3 outs secured, and a 3-pitch strikeout for Merriweather, 98, 99, and then a 100 strikeout for the first out.
Wow. 1, 2, 3, go sit down. That'll get you shaking your head. See the back shoulder drop, and you're under that
Well,
pitch.
Beatty's another one, right? What is he, 5 for his last 20 something?
Slider for a strike,
Again, I'm not going to kill him, but he's been struggling too. He's had a bats like that where 3 pitches and he's out. Tommy Pham gets a base hit to right field.
99-mile-an-hour fastball taken it the other way for a 1-out single.
Up in the strike zone.
Yeah, I get that, Hector, but they're not going to get it.
Right where it's pitched.
I'll tell you that. The only way they're going to get a team quickly is the A's.
Tommy's lets that ball belt time and up. Stays level on that. Look at that level swing. And that's like a head-on collision with that baseball.
All right, Gary Sanchez up.
Flat out, grounded out over 2. He's got the most experience among the current.
Wow, this umpire is calling strikes all over the place that are not strikes. For both teams, by the way. He's been terrible for both teams.
First and 1 out, and slider fouled off. And it's 0-2. Mark Leiter Jr. is up now in the Cubs bullpen. He's been probably their most effective reliever this year. Of the right-hand pitcher who's very good at getting left-hand hitters out. Just called time, but didn't leave the batter's box. It's a little different. 0-2 coming, and he struck it out.
And Sanchez strikes out, 2 outs.
Merriweather, he's got 2 strikeouts.
Brandon Nimmo coming out with 2 outs.
We've seen Gary in this game, both sides.
Yeah, Grant, that's true.
Strikeouts on the up and in fastball.
So 2 out now, Nimmo.
Nimmo's 2 for 3 with a single and a double.
Nimmo has a pair of them, a single and a double, 2 for 3. And gets a first pitch changeup, swung and missed, nothing at once. So after all those fastballs and a couple of sliders, Merriweather unleashes his first changeup, and it was a good one. Pham at first with 2 out. And the ball fouls off his leg, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, Laura, if I brought it up earlier. Yeah, it's, what, and listen, the Blue Jays have been terrible lately, so they needed something like that.
Out of the game is a little more passive than he becomes later in the game.
Passive would be the right word here. He's leading off, trying to get on base.
That's a base hit for Nimmo. 3rd hit of the game for Brandon Nimmo. Keep the inning alive, 1st and 2nd.
Earlier in the inning, Nimmo going to the opposite field against the hard tosses of Merriweather.
This is a part of his game now that has come a long way as far as his hitting. he hits it hard to the opposite field. And he's not slapping it. It is just really come along. Another level swing on a high pitch.
So now, with Escobar due up, Jeff McNeil is.
All right, Jeff McNeil is pinching it for Escobar.
He's played in every game this year, not starting today. He's got 8 games.
And there will be a pitching change, of course.
And here comes David Ross. He's got Leiter in the bullpen, and Leiter has been particularly effective against left-hand hitters, and so it's Mark Leiter Jr. who will come.
All right. Al Leiter's son, Mark Leiter Jr., is coming into the ball game, who's been one of their most effective bullpen arms this year for the Cubs. So the Mets at first and second, 2 outs with Jeff McNeil pinch hitting for Eduardo Escobar in the 7th, down by 4 runs. Keith, I agree. I have no answer for that one, to be honest with you. I don't know why he's not playing today. Again, Alvarez is not going to play every single day behind the plate. No catcher plays every single day behind the plate anymore. You get, 5 games a week. If you play 7 in a row, he will have days off, obviously. But, well, Mothman, McNeil said he wanted a day off. That was what was said in the pregame. So that was McNeil. I don't know why. I think McNeil in the last game at Citi Field, he made one of those double plays that I think he kind of like twisted his something, and I think he wanted to get a chance to relax a little bit. I don't know, but he's playing. He's pitching it now, so I don't know. Yeah, Hector. When the Yankees were playing Toronto, I like the renovations. I like the lower walls. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but they did say pregame that McNeil went to Buck and says, "Hey, if you really need me, I'll play." He goes, "But I think I need a day off." And again, when a player comes in and says he needs a day off, give him a day off. Like, there's a reason why. Well, Keith, he's already the number 1 catcher right now. But I get it. I agree with you. You should be playing. All right, so Leiter's been good this year. 2 ERA. A lot of strikeouts. McNeil has an 8-game hitting streak.
He's 2 for 3 in his career against Leiter. That's here with 2 out and 2 on. It's down by 4 runs in the 7th. Pitch curveball out of the strike zone for ball 1.
You always like to get ahead 1-0, particularly with a breaking ball. Now you're 1-0. Try to get an out here. This is really a good count in this situation.
Deal batting for Escobar. Lindor on deck.
Ball 2.
Sinker misses going away, and it's 2-0.
And even better now, 2-0 here.
It's had a big chance in the 6th with the bases loaded, nobody out. Got just 1 run out of it. And trying to fight uphill again here in the 7th. 2-0 to McNeil. And he takes a strike.
Surprised that Jeff would be taking.
Bring him up in the bullpen for New York.
Cubs had a 2-7 road trip coming home here, and the bullpen was ineffective.
2-1 to McNeil.
Ooh, nice breaking ball. Oof. That was a nice breaking ball. 73 miles an hour breaking ball.
This is when Jeff becomes a tough out. Good 2-strike hitter.
2 out, 2 on, 2 to McNeil.
And McNeil takes ball 3.
Full count. So Pham at second, Demo at first will be running.
Yeah, Tom, exactly. I sometimes you just not. You wake up one day and you're just like, damn, I don't feel right. Why play and you don't feel right and God forbid getting hurt? Risk getting hurt like that. If you ask the manager for a day off, there's got to be a reason for it.
3-2 coming.
Ground ball stays alive.
Lois or a Lois. Nobody calls it.
It's O-I-S, right?
It's A-L-O-I-S.
So Wa, French, right?
Latte.
We dropped a sorbet earlier.
Again, the 3-2 coming at McNeil. And Jeff
Just fouls it off. That would have been ball 4, but that ball was that ball moved everywhere in that plate. That ball started in the middle of the plate and ran all the way to the right-handed batter's box. That was a very odd splitter, but stays alive.
There's no rotation of the hips there. That's just staying in. That's an emergency hack.
8th pitch in the at-bat coming from Leiter to McNeil. Pham and Nimmo get set to run.
And McNeil strikes out on the same splitter. And the Mets do not score in the 7th. That was another pitch out of the zone. The same splitter that McNeil barely fouled off. He struck out on the next pitch. Mets do not score in the 7th. Mets had back-to-back innings where they could have got back into this ball game and did not, with big hitters up. And the Mets do not score. So, down by 4. 2 more innings for them to get back into this ball game. Bottom 7, down by 4, guys. So, once again, guys, don't forget, if you haven't hit that like button, please do. Got a couple of more innings to go before the possible game over, and we shall see if the Mets have some late inning heroics once again. We shall see. They had opportunities in the 6th and the 7th to get back into this ball game. Yeah, they don't call it a screwball. They call it a splitter, but it moved like a screwball. Like, again, that was the same exact pitch that McNeil barely fouled off the last pitch. Again, that would have been ball 4. They would have bases loaded with the tie and run coming to the plate, but that did not happen. So we're just waiting for the commercial to end to start the bottom of the 7. It looks like Jeff Brigham is coming into the ball game for the Mets, down by 4. So just to let you guys know, on a little update on the streams, I'm probably not going to do a stream tomorrow. If I do a stream tomorrow, I won't do one on Thursday. Kind of sucks that every game at Wrigley Field is a night game, which usually doesn't happen. But unfortunately, they are. So unfortunately, we can't really, I can't really do all the games because I do work, but I'll do my best. I will do 2 games during this series, just a matter of which one. So Negosic still is in the game. 6-2 Cubs in the bottom of the 7th.
Cubs started today with a home run against Tyler McGill in the 2nd inning in the dead center field. His 6th of the year. Negosic worked around leadoff block, and the 6th stays out there for the 7th. Suzuki, Morel, and Topman up for the Cubs. And the slider bends it for a strike at 22. McGill went the first 3 2/3, allowed 6 runs for them. And Dominic Leone heading in the 3rd, no runs, 1 hit. And now Negosic starting his 2nd inning instead of McNeil, who pinch hitting stayed in at second base. 2-2 to Suzuki.
Quick strikeout for Negosic for the first 3rd strikeout in a row for Negosic.
Negosic, a nice bounce back outing tonight after a really rough one his last time he's played.
Maybe it was the mustache.
Indeed, it's always the mustache's fault. There's Christian Morel, who has yet to homer tonight after homering in his last 4 games and 8 in his first 11 games in Texas Strike.
Well, that's gone. And now we're down by 5 runs. 7-2. Well, Morel has been the only crazy.
Wow, what a tear this kid is on.
Morel just keep on hitting home runs. 5 home runs in the last 5 games.
It's now 7-2 Chicago.
High fastball, Gary. Crushed it.
Yeah, Ken, who's going to take over for Buck? I'm just so curious about that. You know, let's not talk about Buck and Epler when nobody was talking about Buck and Epler after the Mets just won 5 out of 6. I'm sorry. I love you guys, but come on. Like, let's not go crazy here. You can't give up 7 runs and win ball games every single day. Sorry, no offense is going to do that.
Well, the last Cub did home runs in 5 consecutive games was Sammy Sosa in 1998, and now Christopher Morel has matched that.
Wow. Quick inside here.
Got 49 at bats, 9 home runs.
I want to see that Strato card right now. There's a swing again. He just look at the hips fly open and rotate. The rotation, he just turned.
He's also the first player in Major League history now that had a hit and score a run in each of his first 12 games of the season. The 11 was a record, and now he just extends the record by doing it in 12 straight
Well,
games.
Hayden, I mean, listen. Pham did win a ball game against the Rays, right? I know it was a ground ball, and he beat it out. But, again, you know, I don't care if Alvarez was in this lineup. Would that have made a difference losing by 5 runs, giving up 7 runs? No. I'm sorry. You got to pitch better. You know, how about giving up 4 runs? How about giving up 3 runs? Right? The lineups came back every single day. And it's getting to the point where you got to pitch better, too. You got to pitch better.
Choked up around 12 inches, he said.
With a little flare over it, drawn it in. Yes, he did. Top takes a strike. It's 3-2. Well, that's hard work all night trying to get closer in this game. They've let a couple of chances get away.
Oh, no, Hayden, I agree with that. Epler is not long-term. But the only reason why Epler is here is because of Ohtani. We all know that. I mean, none of us agree with that. I agree with that.
Danger of the dreaded golden sombrero. 3 at-bats, 3 strikeouts tonight.
Grant, can't wait until the offseason for that.
In his big league career. Takes the first pitch slider for a strike. 183 strikeouts last year.
Ken, I agree. Pham should have caught that ball.
He's had 10
You know, would anybody else catch that ball? Would Tanner would have caught that ball? Probably.
this year.
Most likely. Very much so.
Swinging a slider out of the strike zone. It's 0-2.
It's a broken record here tonight for Wisdom. Took a curveball, the first pitch over the middle for a strike, and then he accepted on the curve. He can just keep throwing it down there and see if he continues to fish.
And that one gets by Sanchez. So trying to get Wisdom to chase. He makes Sanchez chase it to the backstop. That's a pass ball and 2 wild pitches tonight for the Mets.
Down that one knee, it is hard to move laterally.
And Wisdom strokes that one down the right field line. Slice foul. I got a ball. Everybody look at me. I got a ball. Again for 1-2. And Wisdom lays off the slider 2-2.
I think he's throwing the fastball up and in right now. He's looking for that curve. That's all he's getting. Get it.
Gomes on deck.
Yeah, Grant, I agree with that.
The pitchers have struck out 11 tonight. Wisdom pops this one up. Second night stay at play for Sanchez. And
Wow.
he can't make the catch. Looked a little unsure of himself the entire time, and he eludes it. So, in his second start behind the plate for the Mets, this has not been a great night back there for Gary Sanchez. This is nothing the Mets didn't know. This is what you get with Sanchez, the possibility of some great hitting, and he's got a great arm, but some of his defensive skills are a little lacking. Seventh pitch of the at-bat coming to Wisdom, and he fouls it for strike three. So Wisdom strikes out for the fourth time tonight. Nagosic has his fourth strikeout with the 2 out. Ouch. 11 career golden sombreros for Patrick Wisdom. Here's Young Gomes, who drove in a run with an infield hit in the second and then struck out his 2 subsequent at-bats. And he drives one deep down the left field line, right toward the pole, and that ball is foul. Missed by much.
That is, if I'm correct, 355 down that left field line.
It's an oddly shaped bar, deep down the lines, tight in the gaps. And that's popped up into shallow
Popped
center.
up. That might be a problem. And Nimmo gets it to end the inning, but not before the Cubs add another run with a Morel home run. 7-2 Cubs going to the top of the 8. 2 more times at bat for the Mets. Yeah. Well, JD Davis is hitting because he plays every day. That's very simple. Again, nobody wants to talk about that. When I was bringing up JD Davis, they should have never got rid of him. But once again, guys, we can talk about firing Epler all you want. It's not happening until Ohtani's decision is made. It's very simple. So Epler's not going anywhere, right? It's not happening, right? I don't agree with the Sanchez being in the lineup. I think that's a problem. Pham, whatever. Again, it would have been Canna or Pham in left field. So, pick your poison, right? Well, Canna would have made that catch, most likely. So, unfortunately for the Mets, a couple of errors, a couple of bad pitches, and 7 runs are on the board. Well, it wasn't the situation with Davis. Davis is gone because Davis didn't do the job when he got opportunities, and Davis was traded for Ruff. So Vogie and Davis had nothing to do with each other. Now, if the Mets would have just got Vogelbach last trade deadline, I wouldn't say JD didn't want to be here. I think JD fell into a spot just like Dominic Smith, just like, other guys that got opportunities, but when they got opportunities, they didn't do the job. And again, I think the Mets hurt both of those guys because they made them a platoon DH with Dominic Smith and JD Davis. I don't think those guys are good in platoon situations. DH platoons don't work around baseball. You need one solid bat as a DH guy. That's it. I don't see why it's so hard.
McNeil to end the 7th with 2 men on. It's now down 5 as they come to bat in the 8th. Curveball fouled off 1-2.
Exactly, Grant.
Tonight in Washington, San Diego Padres, who have had a miserable year, 21-26, brought Juan Soto back to D.C. for the first time since the trade. Soto's 3 for 4 with a home run tonight. Yes, he likes being back. Affiliations count. Everybody was 7-4 in the 9th, I think. That's the one that gets them going. 1-2 coming to Lindor, and he taps him with foul at first base. Finally went 5 innings plus, allowed 2 runs, 4 hits. Jeremiah Estrada did a great job in the 6th. 3 outs, 3 batters. Julian Merriweather got 2 outs in the 7th, then left it to Leiter to get the 3rd out.
Hayden, I said that last year, and nobody cared about J.D. Davis. That's exactly what I said. J.D. Davis was a guy in saw in 2019 when he got starts. He had what, 20 home runs, 68, 70 RBIs, and he batted like 260 in 2019 for the Mets, playing every day.
Chopper on the right side. Warner comes in, plays the high hop, and throws out the door.
The bouncy infield. A lot of high hops.
This is the ballpark where the grass was cut so thick.
Tell me about it. It used to be, folks, what we used to call the lion's mane. It was like 4 inches thick. I'm not exaggerating, maybe more. And I can tell you how many times when Bill Buckner was playing in Chicago, they went up the middle, and Ozzie Smith would go up the middle. And I could hear Buckner screaming at ground crew with multiple expletives. I think he cut the lawn.
Why did they keep it so thick?
Because they always, that was their philosophy when it came up, because when it blew out, small ballpark, they always had center ball pitchers here, and pitchers that serve up ground balls.
Alonso goes down on 3 pitches.
And Alonso strikes out, 2 outs in the 8th.
Strikeout, 2 out.
You had Bill Lon, you had Rick Rush. That's a rip. There's your splitter. That is, it's almost like a fork. It didn't do much. Just the off speed.
So 2 out and nobody on for Vogelbach, who flying out as a pinch hitter in the 6th inning.
And he's got a good curveball too.
It's in sharply, but right at corner.
And the Mets go 1, 2, 3 in the 8th, 7-2 Cubbies. Bottom of the 8th coming up. So once again, guys, you know, it's always after the fact with players, and too many fans have a problem with that. Oh, look what J.D. Davis is doing. So what? What does that mean where he has no pressure at all in San Francisco, at all, with a team that's going nowhere, and we just assume that, oh, well, all right, great. We should have had J.D. Davis. Yeah, I agree. I think J.D. Davis would have been okay. But again, when he got opportunities, he didn't do the job. He had the same amount of at-bats as Dominic Smith. Actually, Dominic Smith had more at-bats. They both didn't get it done. Well, you can take some solace into that, says, all right. The Braves are losing. If the Braves lose, the Mets lose. They're still 4.5 out of a division, right? They still have an opportunity to win the series. And that's all you can ask for, right? You know, I think the bigger problem that people were concerned about J.D. Davis, we traded Holderman for Vogelbach, who's been a very good pitcher for the Pirates in the bullpen that the Mets could have used, right? So that pisses me off more than giving up J.D. Davis and 3 minor leaguers to Ruff. Because I think Holderman would have helped this team a hell of a lot more than J.D. Davis would. So, Mets down by 5. We'll have one more chance in the 9th to somehow come back in this ball game. Tough task. Down by 5, maybe more. I agree. When Holderman came up and you know, and pitched well with the Mets, again, you know, I always hate giving arms up anywhere in a situation, especially a guy who's actually helping your club. I don't like that at all.
Purvis had a big night.
Well, Hayden, I don't see where he's gonna go off. Like, who are you trading to get anybody?
Walk in the
I mean, you're gonna trade Alvarez? You're gonna trade Beatty, Vientos, Mauricio? Probably not.
Swing and a miss and a changeup, and it's 0-2. Good changeup. Eagle Warner and then Dansby Swanson. This is interesting. Who was up in the bullpen for the Cubs? Michael Fulmer.
Oh wow, Michael Fulmer warming up for the Cubs.
That's traded to the Tigers, but I picked up Kodai Senga. Fulmer's career got off to a fabulous start with Detroit and then some Cub injuries. He is now on the Cubs staff and looks like he's going to pitch in tonight. And Burgess takes that a little bit high. Joseph's walked 2. He struck out 4. Gave up the home run to Morel with the 7th, the only one he's allowed. And Burgess tries this one to center, and Nimmo comes on. And Burgess is retired for the first time tonight. So 1 out of the bottom of the 8th. So the Dodgers lead the Braves tonight 8-1, and that just got 5.
Ken, I don't agree with you one bit.
3 RBIs tonight for Will Smith. And
The same manager that won 101 games last year, and Epler, we can kill him all he wants, but that team also, he brought in Bassett, who everybody loved until the last 2 games of the year for him, right? Everybody loved the Scherzer signing. So, Marte was a revelation last year. Again, I don't think Epler's done a good job, but you're not going to fire a manager who just won 101 games last year. And, has he made stupid decisions? Absolutely. But the players also have to play on the field. Can we kill the players before we kill a manager?
He hit the catcher. And we were just talking about Showalter about that today. Beatty throws out 1 or 2. What's your opinion on this?
Ken, there's been more good than bad. Like, let's be honest. Like, you don't like Buck. That's okay. But let's actually look at the facts. Nobody's firing a manager after a 101-win season last year when everything Buck did last year was roses. Let's be honest. Now, do I agree with everything Buck does? No. But again, Ken, you keep on saying fire Buck. Wonderful. You want Eric Chavez? You want Chavez to be the manager? Who's going to be a manager? Like, I don't understand. Like, give me a name, and don't give me anybody who's not on the Mets Mets coach right now, because you're not getting anybody from the outside.
Hits a batter with a pitch. Pitcher gets penalized. Batter goes to first base. Why should this be any different? Punishing. You think we should get first base and the pitcher's punished? I don't know what.
That's fine, Ken.
He should be.
But also the good stuff you don't say. That's the problem.
It's never been ruled that way, but it seems especially as prevalent as it is in the game right now.
All right, Ken, you can joke all you want, but you didn't give me no names. So again, you're firing Buck. Everybody's like, oh, DFA this guy, DFA that guy. Who are you replacing these guys with? Who are you firing? Like, come on. And Steinbrenner, for everybody who wants to, look what Steinbrenner would have done, right? The only time Steinbrenner ever was good in his career owning the Yankees was when he didn't fire a manager like Joe Torre, right? Matthew, I don't think that's – I think that was true in 2021, the first year of his ownership, basically. His first official year of owning the team.
You want to get a concussion? And do the concussion protocol 10 days and you're out?
So you don't think the hitter is culpable in any way?
No, I don't think it's intentional.
I'm not saying it's intentional, but shouldn't you be able to control your bat so that it doesn't get the catcher?
If you're a catcher, move back. You're going to tell the hitter he's going to have to hang on. Remember Piazza's front. Remember always Mike Piazza's fault. He hang on with two hands.
He hit himself in the back.
He could wrap it around his back.
Yeah, he hit himself in the back. That's okay.
So, but you're going to tell Ozuna you got to hang on with two hands and change how he's hit his whole life.
But if you hurt people. 8th pitch of the event to Swanson. He hammers one down to third.
Nice play by Beatty. Bad throw by Beatty, and Swanson gets on first. Let the kids play.
Nice play by Beatty, but the throw was a hard one for Alonso to handle. That'll be an error all the way on Beatty.
Always Beatty, good range to his left.
Yeah, he double clutched.
Just not a good throw over first.
I think Swanson beats that one, don't you?
He took his time on the throw.
Yeah.
And I think he does take his time on the throw.
I think that maybe should be an infield hit and then an E5 allowing him to advance. Is he going to be out?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
That's right.
That's why we have to just correct us.
10 years ago, your eyes looked better. He would have. I can't read the scoreboard.
The Mets have not played their best defensive game tonight. Dropped line drive in left field by Pham, and now the error by Beatty. Yeah, I need Harry's glasses.
That's what John said. The director.
It's his birthday. He can do whatever he
I
wants.
had nothing to do with that shot.
He and Abs 0 for 3 in a walk. In the ninth, the Mets will have Marte, Beatty, and Pham do up.
Ken, I understand that, but find me a manager that doesn't make those pitching decisions every now and then, right? And look, I think arguing a call or arguing out of the dugout is so overrated. You like to see it because, oh, look, he cares. Like he doesn't care. That's so overrated. It's embarrassing that you talk about that. I don't care that he doesn't come out and argue. Who cares? He didn't get thrown out last year at all. Last year, and the Mets won 101 ball games. So I guess, the Mets would have won 102 ball games if he argued. That's ridiculous. All right. Now, I agree with you with the Alonso and Lindor and the pitching change is going to happen. I agree. Lindor and Alonso gets a day off. But again, we laugh at people and laugh at players that, they give maintenance days to players. Yet, all of a sudden, we killed players for not playing every day. And these two guys, I agree with you. I agree with you. But let's not act like it was Buck's fault that they collapsed in September. Let's talk about what happened, right? What happened? The offense all of a sudden couldn't hit, right? Marte was hurt. But Ken, who cares about what aggressiveness? I know, because Buck's going to come out and yell, bitch, and moan. And then what? All of a sudden, Sanchez is going to learn how to hit? Come on, please. Let's not talk about that matters, because it fucking doesn't, right? The Yankees should win the World Series every year, considering that Boone fights on every fucking call. It doesn't work like that. Sorry. And you want to fire Buck? Great, let's fire Buck. You know what? Let's have Chavez run the team and see how bad it gets. Come on. No, for some reason Ken's comments don't come through. I don't understand. I don't know. Is he giving away games? I don't know. You know, it's kind of hard when you give up 7 runs. So, you know, Ken is a moderator. So if he blocked you before and he didn't unblock you, I think stays. I don't know. Okay, let's get Luis Rojas back. Let's call the Yankees, get him back. I know, because he was a great manager. He argued a lot. He got thrown out of games. Mickey Callaway, you know, likes to grab women. That's great. He argued. How did they do? Come on, please. Right? Aaron Boone's a great manager because he argues? Come on, that's retarded.
Jeff Brigham comes on to face Seiya Suzuki. Gets his first slider in for a strike.
Brigham's been solid in the bullpen since his call-up.
Well, Ken, I agree. But the Mets have been doing that all the time, no matter who's in the lineup. Right? When you're in the lineup, the Mets didn't score nothing until the 5th inning.
We got this whole thing started for the Cubs today with his 6th home run.
Right? So I don't care. Look at the last couple. Look at the winning streak that the Mets had. Look when they started scoring runs. A bunch of their runs in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th inning. And in those games, they were behind. So whose fault is it?
That's been good tonight. They all have been having the third, no runs, 1 hit. Gosek gave up his 2 2/3.
Ken, I understand you don't like it, but again, jump on the bandwagon when they won 5 out of 6.
Sliders to Suzuki 2-2.
Brigham has a good one. He likes to throw.
Gosek wound up throwing a season high 61 pitches in his 2 2/3. Saving grace in this game.
Can Buck throw a fastball? Can he throw a curveball? Better than McGill? Throw him on the mound then. Ground ball should end the inning, and it does. Mets getting their last chance at bat to come back from 5 runs down. Former possible Met and former prospect of the Mets, Michael Fulmer, is coming in to close out the game for the Cubs. Yeah, Ken, but look around baseball. All right, I just want to prove a point to you. Look around baseball, 3rd game, right? You know, do homework. How about that? All right, Ken, could you get it on my nerves today? All right, do homework, right? Do your homework. Check around baseball. How many times lineups change? Every 3rd game, catcher sits, starting catcher sits. Sorry. It doesn't work like that. Again, you keep on giving me stupid ideas and stupid points, but where's the manager that's replacing Buck? You know what, Ken? You go out there. How about that? And then when the Mets give up 7 runs, I think we can fire you then because of the fact that you threw – maybe Max Scherzer shouldn't pitch. You know, let's bring David Peterson back because he'll give up 9 runs instead of 8. I'm sorry. Doesn't work like that. How about the fucking players on the fucking team do their fucking jobs? How about that idea? Right? Aren't those fucking guys getting millions of dollars to play baseball? How about the players on the fucking field do the fucking job? Right, Ken? If you don't do your job, you get fired. If I don't do my job, I get fired. These players don't get fired. Let them do their jobs. Right? Guys like Lindor, who finally comes around, needs to do a better job. He was up with runners on. Pete Alonso was on with runners on. He didn't do nothing. Right? The guys that you're supposed to have, if Pete Alonso and Lindor don't go, I don't give a fuck who's in your lineup. Beatty, where was he? Right? Everybody loves the kids. Right? Beatty's 4 for his last 25. Vientos is 2 for his last 13. Play the kids. They're not doing nothing either. Should we fire Buck because he plays the kids then? Come on, guys. And you're like, oh, he doesn't argue. What has Aaron Boone won? He argues every game. Come on, stop it, guys. The Mets are having their last chance to score some runs to get back in this ball game, down by 5.
Transposition surgery, Tommy John surgery, shoulder woes. Now here he is facing the Mets as a Cub. And he throws his first fastball inside to Starling Marte as we start the 9th inning.
Well, Mark, that's the point. Guys that you need to play in the back of your baseball cards are not right now. That's the problem.
30 years old. He was his first round draft pick in 2011. Probably wasn't all that far from getting called up at the time that they traded him away. Counter on the outside, quarter 2-1. Late swing fouls ball. Marte tonight 0 for 3, 3 ground ball outs. That's a guy just 6 hits tonight.
And Marte strikes out, 1 out.
Jones makes the toss to first. And there's the first out of the night. Brett Beatty is 0 for 3 tonight, grounded out twice and struck out. Tomorrow night, Kodai Senga for the Mets, and another former Met, Marcus Stroman, pitches for the Cubs. Beatty hits one right at the shortstop.
And quick 2 outs for the Mets.
2 down. Smiley in line for his 5th inning with the first 5 innings plus. Mets have not been able to tally despite several chances against the Cubs bullpen. Now they're down to their final out with Tommy Pham coming up. Unless the Mets have a big rally, you know what's going to happen in just a few moments. You're going to hear both Cubs go. Oh, that song. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's part of the, part of the culture.
Ground ball, and that's the and the ball game is over. Mets go 1-2-3 in the top half of the 9th, and the Mets lose 7-2, and the 5-game winning streak possibly could have been 6 is over. The Mets lose the first game of the series against the Cubs, and the Mets will have Senga on the mound tomorrow. Maybe Senga shouldn't pitch. I think Buck should just hold him out another game. So, somebody else can complain tomorrow, like children. So, again, I didn't realize Ken is always right. I forgot. I apologize, but I'm not sorry. Because of the fact of the matter is, you want to fire Buck? Yeah, fire Buck. Who cares, right? Let's fire Buck. Why not? I think we should. I really think we should pay Luis Rojas whatever he wants to come back because he argued. Right? But let's just do that, right? And again, I guarantee you Ken was loving Scherzer last year until the end of the year, right? It works like that. Same thing with Bassett. Look, you want to fire Billy Epler? I agree with all you guys. But Billy Epler's not getting fired. So if it's coming out of your mouth still, you're wasting your time because it's not happening. Right? You're not firing Epler. You're not firing your GM right now. You're just not. All right? The whole reason why Epler's here is Ohtani. I don't agree with that, but that doesn't mean that it's going to happen. Epler is here because of Ohtani. Right or wrong? Do I agree with it? Most of us don't. That's it. But the other problem is the fact that Epler is here. You keep on talking about it. It's not happening. It would have happened already. It should have happened after the deadline last year. Well, Ken, is he putting up the lineup or is it Epler? Oh, ooh, that applicator. And that's the only thing. Look, I'm not saying Buck Showalter is the best manager ever, right? I don't agree with a lot of his moves sometimes either. But you know what? There's moves that I didn't agree with that actually work too. That is the whole idea as well. We only bring up the negative, but when there's a good move, I don't hear nobody talking about Buck Showalter. Right? Be fair both ways. Right? Nobody didn't like the Scherzer signing. So let's not act like all of a sudden you didn't like it. Because that's bullshit. All right, let's not act like that because when we signed Scherzer, everybody loved it. Everybody loved it, right? The Chris Bassett trade, everybody thought it was a really good trade, right? Let's not act like it wasn't a good trade. Again, it was good until what? Oh, the last week of the season. You know, it's unfortunate that nobody will bring up the positives, but let's bring up negatives because everybody has great ideas. Well, Ken, you look like a fool as well. Right? Again, you can agree, you can disagree all you want, but you're wrong in this situation. You said fire Buck. You did not give me a fucking name. Again, you're gone today. You are absolutely gone today, lost today. Because you want to fire Buck, great, fire Buck. But you didn't give me a name. Because the person that's going to take over is going to be worse than Buck. And then you'll bitch and moan about that guy. Right? Let's get Luis Rojas and Mickey Callaway. Put them manager and bench coach. It could be better, right? Because they argue. It's a joke. Right? You lose one game out of the last 7, 2 games out of the last 7. Oh my God. You have to give me a name, Ken, because you're stupid in that situation. Fire Buck. Who's taking over? That's what I want to know. Who is taking over? You can't fire somebody and replace them with other garbage because it doesn't work like that. That's it. You didn't give me a name. Yeah, let's hire Joe Girardi. Why not? Because he argues. He might win. Okay, let's do the bench coach. All right, Ken. So, Ken, go away today, please. It's just stupid, right? Eric Chavez that made a great call the other time when Buck actually got thrown out, and Chavez had to actually be a manager and made a terrible decision. Pinch hitting Luis Guillorme. Yeah, because that's going to be okay. It doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't. That doesn't mean that Mets are going to be better because they fire Buck Showalter. That's a joke. Right? Chavez pinch hit Luis Guillorme in a situation when he had other hitters that were better than Luis Guillorme. We killed them for that. But let's get Chavez. Yeah, let's get him out there because he's got to be better. Right? Stop bitching and moaning and come up with a better name. I understand that, Ken. I understand that. Ken, I just want to debate with you. You're being an asshole tonight. Ken, I'm blocking you today. I'm sorry. I can't deal with you. Because we're getting bench coaches all the time. Rob Thompson has been a bench coach for many, 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 many years. Eric Chavez just got into a role as bench coach. So he's going to be good. Come on. Stop it. Rob Thompson had years of experience on the bench. Years of experience on the bench. That's it. It's very simple. Is Buck Showalter the best manager in baseball? No, I don't agree with him all the time. But you know what? Can we actually not give up 7 runs? Because last time I checked, that had nothing to do with everything to do with the players that were in the game. Pham made an error. Great. What about the other 4 runs? Right? We scored 2 runs today. Right? Was Alvarez going to make up a 5-run difference? Probably not. Probably not. Right? We won 5 out of 6. I didn't hear nobody complain. You get too focused on one game. Where was Lindor at runners in scoring position? That must be Buck's fault as well. Marte's a shell of himself. Right? Cannon would have made that catch. Great. So we would have lost 4-2 anyway. I'm sorry, guys, but let's not talk about the manager like he's a chump. You know, Aaron Boone doesn't win anything, but he's a great manager because he argues. If you're gonna say that he's a Buck's a bad manager because he doesn't argue, okay, great. How many wins is that going to help us with? Yeah, like, come on. Like, do I agree with every decision? No. Should Vogelbach be playing? No, he didn't start the game. I didn't agree with pinch hitting for Vientos. I didn't agree with that, but Vientos looked terrible at the plate today. Actually, Vogelbach hit 2 hard hit balls that Vientos couldn't put the bat on the ball. Yeah, but Jimmy, Vientos looked terrible at the plate, and Vogelbach nearly hit a home run. Vientos haven't put the bat on the ball. Right? Pham should have been in the game. Okay, but kind of would have been in the game. People would have bitched about that. It works both ways, guys. Right? You make a good decision. Is anybody applauding Buck for that decision? Managers make mistakes all the time. Find me a manager that's perfect through 162 games. You're not going to find one. The Mets lost today. Oh, my God. Well, the Braves just lost. The Phillies lost today as well. So nobody loses ground anywhere. Come back tomorrow and win the fucking game. It's very simple. Stop talking about something that we all talk about. Managers are what? A difference of 1 or 2 games? Win-loss, maybe? Maybe. That wasn't a routine fly ball. It was actually 1 in track power. Again, but what did Vientos do today? I'm sorry. The Blue Jays manager, he got fired. He went out after his pitching coach went out, and he had to take out Manoah. Should fire him, right? Well, they just scored 20 runs today, so the manager is the best manager in baseball. Right? The Yankees came back and beat the Orioles. Should Aaron Boone win manager of the year? Did he argue today? Oh, the Yankees should have lost because Boone didn't argue. You lost the game. The Braves just lost. Let's fire their manager. Unfortunately, the Mets lost today. They didn't play good all around. The defense wasn't good. The pitching wasn't good, and the offense didn't show up. When 3 of those things happen, you're not going to win ball games. That has nothing to do with Buck. I'm sorry. Once again, guys, the Mets lose 7-2. First game on the road in Chicago. Let's come back tomorrow. Let's come back on, what's tomorrow? Wednesday and Thursday, and win the series. That's all you can hope for. It's baseball. You're going to lose games. Ken doesn't think that. You got to win 162 unless you should fire the manager. Once again, everybody, Mets lose 7-2. I will see you guys either tomorrow or Thursday for the next stream. Everybody have a great night. As always, Mets fans, let's go Mets. Good night, guys.
Make it happen. There's no stopping us now. We're gonna do it again. It's not a question of how. It's just a matter. It's just a matter. It's just a matter of when.
Hello again, everybody. Joe Piscopo, Shea Stadium. The big story. Mets 86. Exciting, thrilling, awesome. Let's take a look.